he's on
I'm
break.
eating food right now, guys. Can you?
And
Fuck
so
you.
I'm waiting my turn so I can go and secrete my fecal matter into this toilet, and this guy doesn't come back out with his bottle. So I'm like, okay, you threw it in the trash can. I go into
The trash
stall.
can that is in the stall.
Yes. And so I drop my pants, I'm doing my business in there now. It's my turn. So I'm on my phone going through TikTok and whatnot. It's my turn. And so I'm doing my thing and I'm taking a shit. And, eventually I just pull my pants up once I'm done after I wipe and all that. And it catches my eye just out of the blue. Once I turn around, there's a Pepsi bottle behind the toilet, filled to the brim with piss and shit. Now, I don't know how the fuck this guy got this shit in the bottle, and I don't really want to know.
Dude,
my
I was hoping Connor would, give us some scientific data behind it, because he had to go to the bathroom before we started the podcast. I was hoping he'd bring a bottle with him and just try to shit in the bottle, because, just give us the logistics of how it worked.
Right.
See, I did bring a bottle with me.
I just don't understand how this man got the shit into the bottle, and it wasn't liquid shit either. This was full logs. These were big John. Okay.
Okay,
Long
so that's gonna bring us to our topic of the day, and that is the weirdest shit we've seen at our jobs.
Yeah.
So Peter, I have to give you accommodations for what you have just put us through, because even upon hearing that story again, I am in shock and awe of how that man managed that.
And listen, this guy fresh out of, I seen this guy walk out. He had no shit on his fingers, not a speck of fecal matter on him.
So that literally means that he did not stuff it unless he washed his hands in the toilet or something.
I don't know.
You would be able to hear that clearly. I think you'd be able to hear this guy dip his hands in the fucking toilet.
Yeah. I'm more appalled at the fact that this guy managed to flawlessly execute this action without making a mess. I even went into the stall. And it was.
I mean, okay. On the bright side, nobody had to clean it up.
The janitor did.
Well, no, it's not like he smeared it on the walls and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't like an abomination or anything. It was well executed.
It was respectful. You know what I mean?
All I have to say is that this guy had practice. This guy's done this more than.
Yeah, he had to have.
Because there's just no way that first try getting.
These things has happened at my jobs, and this was pretty recent, actually. So actually, I think Connor, I may have told you this story because I remember us being on call one night because this was when I worked at the gas station.
Oh, right.
And so one night, right, it was me and one of my coworkers. We noticed a guy was sleeping in his car, with his car on, by the way. His foot on the accelerator, all that good shit. And so, we thought it was kind of weird, right? And my coworker went and knocked on his door. And this dude, jumped awake. And he slammed his foot on the accelerator. Thankfully, it was either in park, where he had, his parking brake on or something. Then he almost immediately went back to sleep. So we call my manager at the time, yo, there's this dude that's sleeping in his car, and normally I'm sure my boss would be like, yeah, just don't bother him. It's a gas station. It's not like we're Walmart where it's kind of weird to be there, at the dead of night and just sleeping in your car. And so he was just yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know, call the cops or something. we are almost certain, because like the cops didn't tell us what happened, but anyway, we ended up getting this poor dude like arrested, and we're almost certain he was like high or like overdosing, because he immediately after my coworker knocked on his window, it was like you know what I mean? Like, that fucker immediately nodded off.
This guy was probably off that end, you know, nodding out. Or maybe...
And so, we call the cops, right? And I thought, like, the next day or the day after that, like, I thought I saw the cop that, like, arrested this guy, and I was like, were you the cop that was here, like, a few days ago that, like, arrested a dude? Anyway... It turns out it wasn't, if you're curious. So we call the cops, and he gets the jewelry slapped on him. Like, full cuffs and everything.
Oh.
To this day, I don't know why. Like, I can only assume that he was, like, high or something. He had to have been, like, talking all fucked up, too. Anyway, in the middle of this cop slapping the cuffs on this man, giving him the pretty pink bracelets, right? His pants fall down, and he, like, his underwear had to have fallen down too, because I remember seeing, like, some pristine white booty cheeks. And me and my coworker are dying, because we're just like, we already feel kind of bad for getting this dude, like, arrested. Granted, it was mostly a welfare check, because we wanted to make sure this guy didn't die in our line of sight. Dude loses his pants, and his booty cheeks be hanging out. Full, like, they are so pasty white, guys. I shit you not. They reflected the moonlight.
Yikes.
And so they get him in the back of the cruiser, and the cop comes in and tells us nothing. The only thing he says is like, so is it alright if we, like, leave the car in the lot? We're like, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? Anyway, why'd you arrest this guy? Tells us nothing, and he fucks off. And that is one of the craziest things I've ever had happen at my job.
Yeah.
It was mental.
How about you, Code? What's the most craziest thing that happened in good old England?
He works at a bar. There has got to be no shortage of shit he has seen.
There has been many occasions I can remember where it's been, like, fucked up shit. Like, we've had, like, numerous occasions, like, you know, like, standing urinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
was
like,
somebody doing a handstand or something?
No, there was just the fattest,
Pissing upside down.
the fattest. It was like pure wet shit in one of the urinals.
Was it the Hershey squirts? Please tell me it was the Hershey squirts.
You know, it was fucking awful. But like,
who cleaned it? You?
No, thankfully we had to clean it to it.
You.
I just got
you were about to die too.
He just got robbed.
The funny thing is, I had full health. I just got one tapped by that creeper.
Yeah, you really got slapped.
But like,
let's move to another topic that might be able to, like, we could all, like, single down to, like, one moment, and that is, what is the craziest time that you ever had while high? And
I have no shortage of that.
Just your typical weed high, like the most craziest, most out-of-pocket experience you've ever had.
Like, weed high.
The thing is, I don't tend to be like around people when I do it.
Yeah, pretty much the only, like, crazy shit that he has when he's high is when he's with me.
Yeah, it's just like, because of my anxiety, I don't tend to really do it around people when I go out.
Oh, man. If you guys don't mind, I'll go first.
For sure.
So, this isn't, like, something super crazy, but it was the first thing that came to my mind when you brought this up. So, my friend, actually, I have two stories. One from my 18th birthday, which is my favorite weed story to tell, and then there's one that is, like, a year or two after.
I knew you around this time, didn't I?
Yeah. I don't think we were talking that often, but you definitely knew me. So on my 18th birthday, I'll start with that one. On my 18th birthday, I went to my friend's house to like celebrate, and obviously they smoke weed. They have a super. I shit you not. I'm not gonna name him, but this dude has done every drug under the fucking sun. Like, he has done some whack ass shit. So he obviously comes over because me, that dude, and my two, like my friend and his sister, we've known each other for almost 20 years now. Like I've known them since they were like, I've known my closest friend since he was 3, his sister when she was 5, and I think we met the druggie when he was like 6, maybe earlier. He and I are around the same age, so maybe he was like 4 or 5. Anyway, so this was like in order to like pass the time, because I'm not always super social with them, despite them literally being my closest friends in the fucking world. So I'm in my closest friend's room playing Devil May Cry 5, and we had plans that night to go see Endgame, Avengers Endgame. So I'm like passing the time playing Devil May Cry 5, which I'd gotten like 2 or 3 days before. I hadn't beaten it at home yet. My friend, and this is the part that like sticks out the most in my mind. My friend comes in, and he sees what mission I'm on. I was on like mission 16 or 17 at the time. He was like, "So how many levels are there in this game?" I was like, judging from like past Devil May Cry's, there's about 20. Like I said, I was on 16 or 17 out of a total of 20. It was like, you need to slow the fuck down. So fast forward a little bit, and I'm gonna have to like give a rough layout of like their neighborhood. So there's a walking trail near their house, and there used to be a bridge there. It's since been decommissioned. It's been torn apart. Granted, it couldn't have been done at a better time. That thing was like rotted to the core and infested with spiders year round. And so we walk the trail for a little bit, and we get to a favorite party spot of like college, high school kids. And we get to like that location. My friend my stoner druggy friend pulls out his bong. We start ripping the bong. Anyway, 5 minutes later, we see lights in the woods. And at first we were like, it's probably like other teenagers or something. It's nothing we need to worry about. Rip the bong some more. Another few minutes pass. We see them again, and we're just like, okay, that's a little weird. We still weren't too worried about it, so we kept ripping the bong. Another few minutes goes by, we see it again, and this time they're closer, like a lot closer. And so we're just like, okay, like let's just get out of here. There's probably nothing to worry about. It's not like there's a psycho murderer in these woods. Let's just get out of here in case it's like somebody that we shouldn't be caught smoking weed by. So we book it back over the bridge, and guess who's waiting on the other side of the goddamn bridge?
The cops?
The cops. And when I say we are surrounded by cops, I mean there were cops behind us on the other side of the bridge. There were cops on both sides of the trail. There were cops surrounding us. And we are walking back to his car, to my druggie friend's car, and we are starting to we start getting pat down. And my friend, whose dad is ironically, the druggie's dad is a cop. I shit you not, this is 100% true. And he says verbatim, this is a direct quote, "I'm not going to lie to you, my dad is a cop, and I know how hard your jobs can be sometimes, I have weed on me and paraphernalia in my back pocket. So they confiscate his weed, some of it of which is my closest friend's weed. And so they take his weed, they take his bong, and we are there for like 20 minutes. And we even get pulled aside by other cops, and there was only one cop there that was like being a real hard ass about it. The other cops are like, dude, we would have just let you go with like a warning, and that would be it. This isn't our call. And so we wait for like 20, 30 some odd minutes. Keep in mind, Endgame that night was supposed to start at like I think 10:30 or 11. And so we eventually get let go. We eventually get let go. The druggie's mom calls like 5 minutes down the road, and she's like, my friend looks at his phone and he's like, oh fuck, there's no way she doesn't know at this point. And he's like, guys, I gotta take this. Just know I'm probably gonna get my ass reamed. Picks up the phone. Hey, sweetie, are you on your way to the movie theater? Yeah, Mom. We're just on our way now. We're headed out. Hangs up.
Oh, God.
Not 5 minutes passes. His mom calls again. Verbatim. Get your ass home right now.
Oh, fuck.
And there is a feeling of dread that surrounds us all. He drops us off at another friend's truck. And before he leaves, I yell at him from like the truck window, "Thank you for the best 18th birthday ever." And my friend, months later, actually almost a year later, I accidentally let it slip that happened. Our parents hadn't known for almost a year. I let it slip, right? And the druggie who had to go home and miss Avengers Endgame later went and saw it, and he said to all of us, I almost got arrested for a movie I didn't even like.
Oh.
And so that is the conclusion of the first story. The second story isn't that wild, because like that's worst case scenario times 1,000.
Right.
Because that was before
really
weed was even like medically legal in Louisiana.
Right.
So the second story is, obviously we didn't have a bong. This was like much later than that first story. So my closest friend made a water bottle bong. And he was like, yeah, him and his sister were like, yeah, we're not gonna hit this anymore. They left a little smoke in it for me. And they're like, yo, you would just want to like run it clean. I lit it up. And I shit you not, I almost smoked the entire bowl. The bowl was like made out of like a metal pin cap, like a writing pin cap. And my friend like yanks it from me, and he was like, "Dude, I said clear it, not speed run it." And I just couldn't stop laughing. I was so stoned. I was like, actually, hold on. That way we can like kind of do this without like running around. Anyway, that's the end of my 2 crazy weed stories.
For sure.
That first one, you all have to admit, fucking insane. The fact that all like what 5 of us didn't get arrested that night is absolutely crazy.
The whole thing, the thing that I'm like wondering is like, you guys could have. If your friend didn't say anything, you guys.
Oh shit! I almost forgot. We weren't even like under investigation, I guess you could say, for like having weed on us. You want to know why the cops were called? Because somebody did call the cops, and we know who it is. Like I know it's a long shot, and I'm certain that they don't listen to me, like they don't follow me on like any of my platforms, because they're an older couple, right?
Yeah.
If you're listening, we know it was you, and we fucking hate you.
I
That
doubt
is
that.
not a joke. That is not a joke. We
I very
hate
much
you.
doubt. I doubt they're probably
If
listening.
if you ever listen to my streams or this podcast, just know that we fucking hate you, and we know it was you.
Um.
And so
So
you want to know why the cops were called?
why?
We were parked like there's a little driveway that you're not allowed to park on that we parked at, and that older couple called the
Why was
cops on
this?
us.
It wouldn't make sense for why there was so many police there.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Apparently, there was a around that same time there was a carjacking dude that kept taking people's cars,
Oh, they must have thought they.
and it resembled my druggy friend's car. Anyway, I made a campfire so we could tell our stories around the campfire. You are an absolute moron.
Right, you guys can tell your stories, but I've got shit to do.
For sure.
Well, I was thinking that for our podcasts we would just sit around the fire and just tell stories.
So this
That,
was
that way we're not constantly running in circles or being distracted.
Oh, I was gonna go find
'Cause-
some. I was gonna go in the ocean.
So this was around 2021. So this was actually a decent while back. You guys know what dabs are, though, right? You know the wax that you smoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was my first time ever doing dabs, and
I still haven't done them, so I'm excited.
Me and my cousin had went to our local fair to just ride on some rides and have a good time and whatnot, and do it while we're high. And so it's right next to the mall. So the fair, they have the fair next to the mall most night every year. Where is my bed?
That's my room.
That's not my room. You were right.
Why did you take your bed out of your room?
Because I fucking wanted to. I was gonna sit next to the campfire.
And so we get out of line and we go over across the parking lot to Dick's Sporting Goods, and we sit on the curb, and he pulls out this little rig thing that looks like a shotgun. It's like, just your little dab rig.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, oh, this is called a dab rig. I'm like, what are dabs? He's like, you never done dabs before? I was like, no, never. And so that's when it all began. So he brings out this.
That's when everything went downhill.
This is exactly when everything went downhill, and so he brings out this beautiful looking wax, which at the time I'm like, this shit just looks like
Normal wax, right? Yeah.
And so he failed to tell me that this was 97% pure THC, and for me,
Oh, fuck.
with me being a first-time dab taker and it also being super high, this kid gives me. He's not a kid, but
Oh, no, I know exactly where this shit's going.
yeah. So he gives me the fattest, juiciest dab in his little spoon, and I'm like, this shit's probably like weed, just like
No.
weed. So I'm like, so I take the entire. I hit it once, and I'm just coughing up a storm. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not a bitch. So I'm gonna take the rest of it. So I take the entire dab. This was probably like a little under a 0.5 of just dab material on the spoon.
Peter, before you continue, I just want to personally say I am so sorry that you went through that.
Yes.
I know exactly where this story is going, and I want to kill this person.
And so we get done. We finish our dabs. We get back in line. We get our wristbands, whatnot, and we're gravy. So now we're in the fairgrounds itself, and I'm just not feeling shit. I'm like, damn, what is this? Like, is this just like? Is this just smoke that hurts my lungs? Like, what is it? He's like, oh no,
You
bro.
are about to green the fuck out.
Yeah. And so we go on a couple rides, and then we hit the Gravitron. It's like just like this room, this spinny room that you like stick to the walls and shit. This ride in particular was the trigger of the high. So halfway through the ride, I'm sinking into the seat because of the gravity room, and all of a sudden, I feel my entire body sink like further deeper into the wall, more than I thought was possible, and all the colors start bleeding into each other, and it just hits me like a truck, and I'm like, I start repeating myself a lot. I look over and I'm like, bro, are you seeing this right now? And I'm just repeating myself over and over again. And then I start saying, are you hearing what I'm saying and shit like that? And I keep asking them that. And then as soon as the ride gets over, I just walk a few steps, and instantly, just like subconsciously, I get into the alcoholic rehabilitation uh, position, which is, legs out, arms by your side, sitting right up. And every, my little brother was with me, and my cousin, and a few of her friends. They're talking to me, and I'm looking up at them, but like my brain's not really registering the fact that it's just not registering anything. It's not picking up. Like I'm understanding them, but I'm not. If that makes quite sense.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I just want to stop you real quick. The only reason I immediately knew what was going to happen, it's happened to me like twice, and it's the worst feeling in the world.
Oh yeah.
It's even worse when your lips go cold. Like you can feel your lips start to go cold and shit like that.
See, whenever I greened out both times, my ears started ringing, and as soon as, and Connor can attest to this, because I've smoked weed that has almost made me green out, like while talking down. Like my ears will start ringing. I'll start panicking a little bit, and it's just not fun. Anyway, you can continue.
All right. And so I'm like, okay, I'm all right. I'm just, I'm internally monologuing, telling myself that I'm okay. You're just high. You're just
As
high.
you would, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's what I do too.
right. So I get up, and it just, as soon as I actually stand all the way upright, it just, everything just feels. I instantly.
It feels like you got hit. It feels like you got hit with a ton of bricks.
And so that's when I instantly go into an out-of-body experience. The moment I stand up, I am now looking at myself in third person at this point. And I'm walking around. I'm not walking. Like my body is pretty much moving on its own, and I'm just in the back of my mind watching everything through a TV screen. And so I'm just aimlessly walking around,
Real
I'm
quick.
yeah.
Hunter, while you're out exploring, can you get us some sand? I have an idea for what our second floor can be.
I found a pillager outpost, bro.
Nice. Anyway, I have an idea of what our second room can be.
Word.
And you guys might actually like it, because I'm going to make a little Minecraft studio for our podcast.
Hell yeah. And so this is a 7-hour experience. This was not enjoyable.
Yours lasted way longer than mine. Oh no.
This experience lasted from sun to sundown.
How did you not?
But anyways,
I would have fucking
I
vomited.
see. Whenever I greened out both times, like I threw up like so much. Actually, the last time I think I literally hurt myself from throwing up.
Yeah, like Whitein, as we called it, is just like the worst. Especially when you don't eat or drink or anything like that. It's just, oh.
I'm walking around, and we're going on a few more rides, and I end up getting dispatched from my group of people that I was walking with. And I'm just going on
that's not fun.
That's paranoia.
So I'm just walking around in La La Land. And eventually my cousin ends up finding me. He's like, "Hey, bro, you okay?" And I kind of just like look past him, and I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm okay." And with my last amount of remaining like human will of me being able to control my own body, I tell him like dead in the face. I was like, bro, take me to my car. And so we go to my car, and we're sitting in there, and I look at him before I completely pass out. I'm like, bro, whatever I do, if I ask you to let me out of my car, please do not let me out of my car, because from this point forward, I don't know what I'm going to do. And so I uh I go to sleep for like what felt like a long time, but I think I was only out for maybe like 20, half an hour. And I wake up. It's still super bright out. It's like 5 p.m. And so I look over to him, and he's like, "Hey, you all right?" And I'm feeling all right. And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I unlock my doors. I lock the cars. I lock the car and whatnot, and we go back. It hits me again, and
Oh
it's like
no!
stronger than it was
Oh,
before. And so we're walking around, we're going on rides, and I'm just trying to keep myself together at this point. I'm just really just trying to keep myself together at this point. And we're walking, and I end up bumping into this little girl, like pretty much like clotheslining her with my arm. And
no!
this dad looks behind at me like he's getting ready to strike me in my face, silly. And he's like, "Bro, watch where the fuck you're going." The guy definitely could see that I was just twacked out, and he just moved along and just left me alone. So it
Okay,
starts
in
raining.
his defense, like I get it, like why
I
he would have
get
been
it.
ready to swing,
Oh yeah.
and I'm so glad that he recognized that you were basically tweaking.
Yeah, no, I was almost in a vegetative state. I was moving by myself. I was robotic at this point. Um, and so it starts raining, and we're in line for the Pharaoh ride, which is
Ah,
basically
fucking
just like this
overstimulation,
swinging
that is.
pendulum boat. Yeah, it's like this boat that's on a pendulum, and you go back and forth real high and shit.
God,
And
after the first experience, I would have been like, nah, guys, like I can't go back right now. Like I'm
no, so
fucked.
the thing is, we didn't actually get on it. So we're sitting in line, and I'm not a very social speaker, especially when it comes to the ladies. I'm more of a on the line texter. So this was very out of character for me. So these chicks are like, "Oh my God, is the ride going to be safe and whatnot?" And I just full blown just turn to them, and I'm just having this entire conversation about how the mechanics of the ride work and how
Uh,
everything's actually going to be okay.
okay, Peter, you're totally a pussy magnet. I take back everything that I've ever said, like against your Riz. Like you're the expert in Riz, my guy.
Yeah, and
There
so
is.
I'm just chatting these girls up and whatnot, doing
Uh-huh.
my thing. And I'm explaining to them that it's all gonna be okay. And, they're smiling, they're giggling at, they're really digging it and shit. And
Yeah.
then I just leave. I just walk
You
away, and
just walk away.
I just walk away. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was.
My guy, like
Um,
you could have gotten laid that day, and you're just
I
like,
really could have.
not bye.
I could have. And so I just
You
leave.
just walk away, man.
Just walk away. And then I'm walking around aimlessly. I bump into another kid. This time I almost actually trampled this kid. And I had a blister on my finger because I remembered that I had burnt myself at work the day prior. And this guy was like, "Hey," he realized that he wasn't even like appalled at the fact that I almost trampled this kid. He looked at the bandage on my finger. He's like, "Hey, it's not good to keep a blistered finger bandage, right?"
So he
I'm like, "Oh."
completely ignored the fact that you almost stomped his kid out, and was just like, yeah, you should probably like unwrap that, bruh.
Yeah, and I'm like super apologetic at this point. I'm like, "Oh my God, bro, thank you." So, like I'm almost crying to this guy that he shined this wisdom upon me that I could take my bandage off and it would be okay. And
Like oh wow, like I almost want to say that like this story is crazier than mine, but I know better. Like mine, I could have gotten arrested, but anyway,
um
continue.
and so I need to actually get inside. There are monsters outside.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm only finishing up like this top part. Like
Okay, and so I eventually regrouped with my people once more, and now I had this Latina chick with me, and I don't know how she came about.
I know
I
that
don't
those are
know.
your favorite.
I don't know how she came about to follow me, but I guess she was in our group now, and she was with me. So we're walking around, and we're in a circle, just kind of talking, and everyone we're just chatting it up and whatnot.
Yeah, shooting the
And
shit.
I instantly look up, look at my cousin. I was like, I'm hungry. I need food. Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah,
now.
yeah. That whenever the couple times I greened out, like I get super hungry afterwards, and
Yeah,
I'm just
and
like,
this is like quoted like my exact words. I'm hungry. I need food. Let's go now. And so I'm almost dead sprinting towards the funnel cake stand, and I'm just telling myself, all right, you're gonna get your funnel cake. You're gonna wait for your friends, and you're gonna sit on the bench. You're gonna sit on the bench and wait for your friends. You're gonna sit on the bench and wait for your friends. So I get my funnel cake
did you
and I
sit on the
go.
bench and wait for your friends?
No, I didn't. So I got, I sit down on the bench and I look at my funnel cake and I just start
Did
ripping this
that
funnel
did
cake apart.
did it start like talking to you? Was it like that kind of high where it's just like,
No,
no, please don't eat me?
no. So I look at my funnel cake and I look back at my friends who are in line and I just look back down at my funnel.
It starts balling.
Love it because it's that feeling of okay, it's not just me.
I remember that time. Yeah, it's like
Right.
I remember my first time.
And I completely disregard what my mission was, and that was to stay on the bench.
Yeah, you were supposed to
I
fucking
get
sit there like a good boy, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, and so I didn't know where the napkins were, but I think somewhere in the day, because your brain remembers useless shit sometimes,
Yeah.
like just things, and I instantly went around and grabbed napkins. Didn't even know they were there. It was just intuition at that point. Grabbed the napkins,
You
wipe my
probably saw them earlier, and you just remembered where
yeah,
they were.
right. And so I'm wiping my face. I throw the napkins down, and I just wander off.
What?
And yeah, I just leave.
You
That's it. I
just
just
walk
leave.
away.
Yeah. And so I end up finding my little brother who is um at this little like coin
I'm
thing.
just appalled that you just left.
Yeah, and so my brother's at this little coin thing where you like put a coin in, you get a prize and whatnot,
Oh,
little
from the
shit,
Ocean Temple.
Um and I'm just really engaged in watching my little brother get this Zippo lighter from this thing. Like I'm just hyping him up. I'm like, you can do it, bro. Just like a couple more coins. I'm like, I'm, I'm like, what's the word for it? I'm I'm indirectly causing my brother to use all of his cash in his pocket, telling him that he can get this lighter if he just tries it one more time. He eventually gets the Zippo lighter, but he's also now pissed at me that he used all his cash. And uh, so I ended up walking away from him after he showed me the lighter. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool.
But
And so I leave. And I was like, well, I hope you got this, so I'm just gonna go now. Basically, is what went down. Um, and I see these two chicks that I was talking to at the Pharaoh ride again. I was like, and this was like super
What
like
were they the
flamboyant.
same ones that you like rizzed?
Yeah. And I was like, hey ladies, and I like waved at them all flamboyantly and shit, and they just like smiled and came over my way, and we were shooting the shit again. Um, and then we're talking and whatnot, and I'm kind of just talking to these other chicks. Um, and so all four of us are shooting the shit, and not only do I leave the chick that I somehow linked up with, but I also leave the two girls, and I just leave them all. Um, and I walk away. And it's about, fast forward, it's about 8 p.m. to 9 at this point. It's starting to wear off. I'm starting to feel a little bit better.
You're
I'm
starting to
find
come down.
Yeah, I'm a bit more cognizant than I was. And so I get on this like Cupid ride. It's like these cars are on a circular track and it just goes around and around real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm feeling it completely like disrupts the high and like I'm no longer high anymore. At least that's what I felt.
That's what, or so I thought.
So after so like fast forwarding a little bit more, we all regrouped together and we discussed how people are getting home. My one friend that came with me actually called his mom because he didn't feel safe with me driving the car.
That is a fair thing. Like, I cannot blame them.
I do not blame him whatsoever. And so it's taking me forever to find my brother's house, my older brother's house, because that's where I wasn't gonna go home. No way was I going home.
Yeah.
I'm not as high as I was, but I was still very much.
You were very fucked up.
Yeah. And so I drive to my brother's house. After it took me like I dropped this one Mexican chick off. I ended up with like 3 different people that didn't come with me to the fair that were now in my car. And I look in my back seat. I'm like, who are you guys? And I was like, you said you were giving us a ride home.
I'm
And
genuinely impressed that like, you mean to tell me, right, that you went to the fair, and when you were ready to leave, your ass took 4, were they random strangers?
Yes, I managed to acquire.
You don't even know who they are.
I managed to acquire 3 extra. They were all females. I managed to acquire 3 extra people to my team that, on top of what I already had to take home. I don't know how the fuck they got in my car. And at this point, I'm a really nice person, like outside of like online and whatnot. So I'm like, all right, I'll take you guys home. So I ended up taking this one chick home, and then I dropped my friend and this other chick off at her place. I'm like, okay. So I dropped them off, and I dropped my little brother off at my dad's house, which is where I was living at the time, and I went to my older brother's house. Little did I know, I had another person with me, and I didn't know, but
What?
it was the Mexican chick that was with me the entire night, and I guess maybe at some point earlier in the day, I think we maybe might have had an agreement to just that she would come home and like kick it with me. And so I look in my mirror and I see this other person, and I almost like jump out of my skin. I was like, "What are you doing here? I thought I dropped everyone off." I was like, "No." And she was like, "No, you said we were gonna hang out after the carnival and whatnot." I'm like, "All right." I don't know what to do. And so we went back to my older brother's house. Eventually, after I found it, because I was driving aimlessly, high as fuck. As soon as I hit the couch, I slumped. And then the very next morning, I wake up in a complete panic because I had this random ass bitch on the couch with me, and I ended up taking her home. And I was drowsy as fuck from being high, and that's the end of the story.
So let me see if I got the events straight. Your friend pulls out a shotgun dab. That turns out to be like 97% THC.
Yeah.
You act big.
You
man.
went to the fucking fair where you proceeded to get so high that it was nothing short of an LSD trip.
Yes. Essentially, yeah.
You then went home where you proceeded to sleep it off, or so you thought. You went back, you rizzed 2 ladies.
I went to my car, which was in the parking lot at the fairground, and I slept it off, which I thought I did.
Okay, so you then rizzed the shit out of 2 ladies.
2 random.
Where 2 random women, mind you, where you then proceeded to tell them the logistics and the mechanics of a ride that had 0 bearing on your risitude.
Right.
Where you then proceeded to go home and you took a big booty Latina girl with you.
And you
Yes.
didn't hit.
And then you woke up and you freaked the fuck out that you had a big booty Latina girl with you.
Bro, I'll just accept my fate and be like, "Yo, okay."
Must have been a crazy night, am I right?
Yeah, I mean, and the 2 other people that I acquired were not the girls that I rizzed up. They were just another 2 random people that I took home, like took to their places.
Bro, they must have been
Dropped them off.
so scared.
You couldn't remember how it happened. Like
Well,
you
I
can't.
guess they were. Well, you see, I guess they were friends of people that I knew. So like, I don't think they were too like. I think they just needed to ride home. I don't remember how a lot of it happened. Like a lot of it's still blurry. There's probably a lot of shit that happened, and I just can't recall it. But that's all that I can recall.
And that, guys, is how Peter lost his virginity.
And that is how Peter got kidnapped and was tossed into the human trafficking ring.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the craziest high I've had to date. I've been really high yet, and it's none of it matches up to that. The closest I've got was when I got super high up dabs maybe like 3 months ago, and I did like a full vertical flip onto the floor and just bar rolled the floor. But even that wasn't as close as insane to the carnival dabs.
Is that the name of the story? The Carnival Dabs.
The carnival daps, yeah.
Yeah, the name of the story is Carnival Dabs.
The name of my story would have been Happy 18th Birthday, you almost got arrested.
Well, guys,
Alright, Connor.
I can make an
it's your
enchantment
turn.
table, by the way. The thing
It's
is,
your turn now,
I don't
Connor.
really have any because again, I don't do any social stuff when I do it.
I mean, it doesn't have to be social, you know?
I mean, yeah, I've had bad trips. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone has had at least one bad trip. But like,
Right.
You care to recall one of those?
not really.
Fair enough.
It's been like one of those
That's
ones where it's
fair.
like where you've like kind of panicked so much and it was just like on and off panic attacks the entire night.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
again, I feel like we've all kind of had that.
Mm,
Other than that,
me
though,
especially.
I don't really. Again, I don't do any social stuff. Like I've never had those
Alright.
experiences.
Next crazy topic. Craziest stories you've had when you were shit-faced.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I mean piss drunk. Like, the kind of drunk where you should not be able to remember the night before and you still somehow do.
Oh boy. Who's going first for this one?
I think Connor should, because he hasn't really told any stories yet.
Yeah, guys, I'm not as excited as you guys, alright? I mean, oh, see, I work at a pub, so I'm quite used to getting pissed. But
Well, I do seem to recall one picture of you that one of your exes had that you did not want them to have, where you were in a silly little top hat that was rainbow
Look.
colored, if I remember correctly.
we don't need to talk about that right now. No, that was for an event for Pride.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't really as much as of a like I got pissed, fucking this happened. It's just like it was just like having fun, fucking hats got whipped out and shit like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, last one I remember is all I remember is we got fucking absolutely blazed and fucking we were drinking at the time. You know, you can only imagine how that can go. And we went to this rock bar.
So many good places.
We went to this rock bar. It was like fucking 12 o'clock at night, and it was only as you can imagine to be fucking high and drunk. And
Con, you of all people.
and we thought it was a good idea to get like cans of Coke, but like put vodka in it and like stuff like that in it. And you know, we got more and more drunk, and we ended up going to a forest which wasn't far off from this rock pub. Fucking music was
Oh
great.
boy,
Music,
only
music was
good
great.
things can happen.
Music was absolutely great. You know, we had a blast for time. Fucking one of us was absolutely fucked. I was probably more sober out of everyone, but it
Mhm.
wasn't until we actually hit the outside where I was like, ah, fuck, oxygen. But we ended up going into the forest. You know, with our flashlights on, blah blah blah. And the further we went in, we realized like who's actually keeping track of where the fuck we are. You know, we're all pissed and
Oh
we're all pissed and shit like that. We weren't
no!
really paying attention to like, oh yeah, this is where we're going. It was just like forest
Mhm.
in. And I
Deeper
think
go.
I think about 20 minutes in, whilst I was walking around, we realised like, ah shit, we have no idea where we are. Um, we ended up going to a deeper part, like proper like you have to crawl to get into these areas. And there was this tiny little homemade little hut thing, you know, had fucking tarps and shit on it. And we was like, huh. There was a built fireplace, stuff
Yeah.
like that, and obviously most of us assumed like, you know, someone was probably squatting out of it or someone was doing some camping. It was nothing important at the
Right.
time. We were ignoring it, and ended up going for a little bit more of a walk. We were still drinking these cans of like fucking vodka straight and stuff like that. I think I'm not sure who it was, but someone ended up throwing up, and obviously he was way too inebriated. So we had to go. We had to try to make our way back in that, whilst also pretty much lugging this guy without looking like we've killed somebody. And we ended up giving up. We was like, yeah, we ain't getting out of it until it's light time, because otherwise we won't know where we are. And we ended up all squeezing into the little hut tarp thing. Um, Probably the worst night's sleep I've ever had, because it was fucking freezing cold out at the time. Fucking middle of the forest. You're not gonna sleep easy. It, it wasn't until we woke up we realised we were about 5 minutes away from a road.
Oh jeez.
So like the entire time we were circling around, fucking panicking our asses off, trying to figure out where we were. You can see the road through the trees, and but we didn't know that, obviously. In the process, we were nowhere near close to being like, oh yeah, there's a road there. But no, nothing. It wasn't nearly as like it wasn't some freak out fucking story, but like at the time it was fucking shitting ourselves.
Well, it didn't. It didn't. It doesn't have to be like super freak out now. It's just
Oh, at the time it was pure
yeah.
fucking. It was pure fucking panic at the time. Obviously, getting lost in some little forest and shit like that while I was pissing high is way more fucking scary than people realise.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've had other fucking stories, but like they weren't really majorly like cool and stuff like that. It's like, you know, seen some cool shit, kick the toaster type of thing.
Right.
Pretty much it.
I'd say that's yeah. What
All
about you,
right.
Dante?
Oh, I'm going next. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say mine's last. Mine's a little bit of a lengthy one.
Yeah, I don't really remember much because I get too pissed. Most stories that happen, I get too pissed to even remember. So
So this story is much like what you just described, where I get so fucking hammered that I shouldn't even really remember this night, other than the fact that it happened, like that it just happened. Um, I can't remember the occasion. I think I was just obviously all my super crazy stories will be with my closest friends. So we went over to I went over to my friend's house, and he had one of his friends from school, I think. My druggy friend, because he's always there. My closest friend, and then there was me. So we were just like chilling out in his garage at the time, just like shooting, like you always do with your friend. You just talk. When we felt like playing a drinking game, we didn't have beer. And this specific game is best played with beer, otherwise you'll end up like me at the end of this story. So my friend had the brilliant idea to use like hard shots. I'm talking. Oh, my
I think you
controller's
told me
off.
this story once.
I probably have. It's my favorite. It's other than the weed story. It's my favorite story to tell. We were playing a game called Bouncy Cups. For those of you that don't know what it is,
You've told me this.
you create a ring of cups that have various liquors in them. For us, it was tequila, vodka, and whiskey. And in the center of this ring of cups, have what is referred to as the King Cup, which is a horrifying mixture of tequila, vodka, and whiskey. And the objective of this particular horrible game, the person to your right cannot bounce their ball into their cup before you. Otherwise, you'll have to drink your shot, stack their cup on yours, and you'll have to keep bouncing it, and eventually it gets like higher and higher and higher because of the amount of cups that you've accumulated through this horrible nightmare. So we do this, and I shit you not, by the time that the game ended, I had taken no less than 12 shots.
Oh boy.
Keep in mind, when it comes to hard liquor, I'm an incredible lightweight. It does not take me much to get drunk.
Doctor, I've seen you drinking whiskey. I've seen you drinking Jack.
Connor can attest to this. I can get drunk very easily if I do it like one after the other. Because I prefer hard liquor.
There was that one time we were drinking, playing some games, blah blah blah, having a nice little.
Because we were doing a drinking game for the forest, like every time that we died and had to go back to the plane.
And for Rocket League as well.
Did we do it? Oh yeah, because like every time we lost. And Brawlhalla.
Obviously, Dante drank he drank one drink, right? He just drank some Jack and Coke or whatever. I drank.
No, at the end of this particular game, like Bouncy Cups, that was 3 shots in 1 cup in the King Cup that I had to drink.
You got pretty pissed on like three glasses of Jack and Coke. I drank like 4 bottles of wine and shit like that. I was alright. You was absolutely steaming. So I know when it comes to liquor and stuff like that, you are pretty light. But
now, the following events I can't really super recall. Pretty much the most that I can recall is me hitting my head like as I was throwing up. I remember having mac and cheese before we started the went on a type trip with that shit. I remember thinking to myself, like, keep in mind, when I get pissed drunk, I cannot move. Like, it is the kind of drunk where I just have to sit down and stay in one place, and I have to hype myself up to get up and go somewhere. Like, recently I got, like, this was before I moved to where I am now. I got drunk one night off of Jack, and, like, I had to hype I was in a sitting position, hyping myself up to lay down. I shit you not, I was so blasted. Keep in mind, this was the first time I'd ever been pissed drunk. I've been buzzed before, because normally my friends and I, we drink like Smirnoff, or like White Claws, shit like that.
Right.
This was the first time I'd ever been pissed drunk. I was so drunk, I could not see in front of me. Now, keep in mind, the day before I'd gone over to my friend's house, it had been raining. And, so I was, like, kneeling in mud. This was in Louisiana, where the entire environment is basically nothing but mud. I was kneeling. I even laid down and was, like, contemplating sleeping in mud. That was how drunk I was. I remember my friends showing me a video of what I was like the day after. I don't suffer hangovers. Like, I've never really had hangovers in my life. So my friend showed me, like, the day after. One of my friends tried to help me up. God bless them. I could not stand for the life of me. If there was someone coming to kill us that night, I would die first. I was smashed.
You'd be like, ah, fucking do it already.
Just do it. Just kill me, I'm ready.
I'm not running. I can't run.
So eventually, like, to me, it felt like hours. In reality, it was probably 30 minutes of me contemplating existence in this drunken stupor.
Jesus.
Eventually, I managed to, like, hype myself up enough. I was like, come on, man, you can stand up, you can walk, you can talk, you got this, you just gotta tell them you're ready to go inside. It took me 15 minutes of doing that, like, saying that to myself. And eventually, I got myself hyped up enough. I stood up, and I like, looked at my friends. They were, like, laughing at me, and keep in mind, I don't blame them. I would have laughed at me, too.
No.
And I remember saying, I'm ready to go to bed. Like, that was all I could muster. And my druggy friend and my closest friend, like, they were basically, like, dragging me to his garage door so they could let me inside. And they, like, stopped at the door, and I remember at the time, like, I even asked, like, why do we stop, guys? Come on. And they're like, you're covered in mud, my guy. So I, like, start stripping as best I can. I'm like, I have, like, zero control of my muscles at this point. And one thing, and this is a direct quote that sticks out in my mind to this day. My friend looked at me and he said, dude, I love you like a brother, but it feels kind of gay for me to take your belt off. And I remember just going like, shit, you're right. And I take my belt off, and I'm down in my boxers. And they managed to drag my fat ass over to their couch. And I remember throwing up so violently, I ruptured a blood vessel in my eye. I had the most bloodshot eye the next day. And maybe after 5, 10, possibly 15 minutes of just nonstop puking, who the fuck just joined?
Yeah, who is this?
It's not my friend.
It's not my friend
mine.
either. Pick him.
Bada
like-
Bowers. I don't know this
Yeah,
person.
I don't.
Yeah, it says
I don't either.
It's telling me I can't. It's telling me to add him as a friend, so it's definitely not anyone I know.
Yeah, same.
I think he must just be my friend.
Anyway, so
I can't remove this person.
alright,
Disable his privileges and he'll leave on his own.
yeah,
Oh, I can kick him. Okay.
there we go.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was weird. Anyway, so maybe like after 5, 10, 15 minutes of me begging for death, like I was begging God to take me from this mortal coil, I pass out, and I shit you not, that was the most blissful sleep of my life. Like, I slept like a fucking baby.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm gonna title that story The King of Cups.
Hell yeah, I like that.
Because I am almost certain the thing that pushed me over that limit was the King Cup.
Hell yeah. Alright, so the title of this story right now, I'm just gonna say now, the title of the story is Mississippi Queen. Yes.
Okay, like if we were doing a point system, you would automatically win the game because of that.
So the story of Mississippi Queen. So this is 4th of July of 2021.
Oh, it's pretty recent.
Oh yeah, that's very recent.
Yeah, yeah, 2021. I had to get my dates right. So 4th of July of 2021, it's a very specific date. You know, a lot of drinking goes on, and this time around, I was actually crossfading.
Wait, when was
Um,
it?
July 4th of 2021.
Yeah, okay.
So this was around the time where my dad had been dating my best friend's mom at this time. Was
Pause.
awkward at first, but we became brothers later, whatnot. And so I go over, I drive me and my
Step
little brother
bro, what
over.
are you doing?
So I drive me and my little brother over to um, my friend's mom's house, who I refer to this day as mom. Um, and the whole family's there, all their family is there. There's a lot of booze, a lot of beer. And, I started drinking and having a good time and listening to music and whatnot. And um, well, actually, this is after the fact that my dad was dating my friend's mom. So she had another boyfriend at this time. This was after they had dated. Um, and maybe it might have been 2022. I'm not quite sure. But so I'm not gonna name his name, but we're just gonna call him Chris. So Chris took me and my brother slash friend Amador into the living room, and he sits us down and he was like, "Hey, you guys want to try these gummies?" And so I'm like, I'm already shit faced. I've been drinking a lot of Budweiser already and a lot of
No.
um, and so he said, "You only need one." And so we both take one and we're sitting there, as we're still casually sipping on booze, and we're not feeling it at
What,
all. It's still
what was
broad
it?
daylight.
Was it an edible gummy?
It was an edible gummy.
So, Connor, do you care to share the adage? Do you want to be the one that breaks it to him? About weed and booze.
Well, in personal experience from what I know, smoking weed tends to like amplify the effects of booze, or booze can amplify the effects of weed. But both mixed together is probably one of the worst experience most people have, especially
Do
when
do
drinking.
you want to tell him what the saying is, or should I?
It's you drink before you, is it don't drink before you smoke or whatever. It's something along the lines of it's like
Bong before beer, you're in the clear.
yep, and beer before the bong, you're in the wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You fucked up.
yeah. And so about an hour goes by and we're just not feeling it. So he gave us both these little baggies full of them.
No, don't take more, you fool!
So me and him both pop one more, and I pop an extra one than he did. So I was at 3 and he was at 2. Um, and
Bro, you're conked. You're out. That's tap.
30 minutes later, I'm still drinking, and I'm feeling it at this point. I'm crossfaded out of fucking oblivion right now, and
You
I
are
end up
knocking on the doors of heaven.
So I'm walking into the living room to talk to mom, and I just like stiff pose, just like comically just fall forward onto my face,
You,
black out for a couple
I,
seconds and get back up.
yeah, you whited out actually. Because if you feel the effects of like weed after you've like done a bunch of drinking, you can white out. Like you will pass out. I have
so
seen it happen to someone before.
I fell forward and woke up like seconds later, and my brother's like helping me to my feet, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm alright. I go upstairs, which was a fucking mission to say the least.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
holding the walls, everything's spinning, those stairs are moving up and down like a fucking Fantasia staircase. Um, and my brother Amador was playing Overwatch, or I think he was playing Overwatch while talking to his friend because we also had friends over too. And mid-sentence, I just fall forward, fall straight on my face. A couple seconds later, get up. And he's like, dude, are you okay? And I was like, bro, I am not okay.
You, you fucked up. Like, you are beyond help at this point.
Yeah. I pretty much end up crawling down the staircase, and I get back to my feet, and I go out, and I'm just sitting, enjoying the vibes of being around everyone outside on the patio. And
You white out
my
again.
mom was mom was saying something about swimming, and the Mississippi River was in the back. It's in the backyard and whatnot. And I ended up going back inside, and I ended up falling backwards this time. But this time, my brother and Amador's aunt end up catching me, and they take me to the couch. And so I'm laying there, and all of a sudden, I just I end up falling asleep for like 10 minutes. I get back up, and I'm just yelling at my mom. I was like, "Let's go swim in the river. I want to go swim now." I'm like grabbing my mom's hand, and I'm like dragging her out. So like, "Let's go swimming in Mississippi right now." Um, and so I end up, I put my Crocs in the sports mode. I take off my shirt. I'm in my white beater and shorts at this point. Um, and I end up blacking out. And so this is really out of character for me because I actually have a very high phobia of water I can't see through,
Me
let
too.
alone large bodies of water in general. Um,
I've almost
so
drowned twice, so I've got that fear.
I come back and I'm at the edge of the Mississippi. We're about to walk in, and I just get in, and so we're swimming and whatnot, and all that jazz and whatnot, and just talking and vibing. And my my ex, who was also there, was like, "Hey, let's see who can swim out the furthest." So I'm like, "All right." Um, so we don't go too far. And then she ends up turning back, and I black out, which was really bad. Um,
Yeah, especially if you're swimming.
and at this point, yeah. And with the current and whatnot, that's really dangerous. I honestly, looking
Yeah.
back, I could have lost my life really easily. Because I'm a 200, like I'm 280 dry, I'm probably like 310 soaking wet. Um, I come to, I kid you not, I'm being like dead ass serious. I'm probably smack dab in the middle of the Mississippi River, and the house is like almost like an ant at this point. Um, and I'm just like freaking out, like how the fuck did I get over here? Um, and so I just decide to float on my back, and instead of looking down, I just swim all the way back, and I black out again, and I end up even further away than I was. I was making no progress. I was degressing. I was going further and further to the other side of the river, which is the other state. Um, uh, and they're yelling at me, and I can hear their voices like very faintly, and they're yelling at me to come back and shit. And I'm like, guys, I'm having the best time of my life right now. I'm just swimming. Let me swim. Um, and they don't have a boat, so they can't come out and get me. Um, so eventually, I do end up eventually, because I'm here talking to you guys now, I do end up eventually swimming back.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be kind of weird if you weren't.
Right. Um, so I do end up swimming back, and I'm just covered head to toe in sand and drenched in fucking river water. And I get completely naked, and like I don't have any change of clothes, so like I kind of sit naked on the floor for like an hour in the bathroom, just letting my clothes dry, and I'm falling asleep in the bathroom. Um, and then I was still very high, after my clothes get dry and I put them back on, and something just told me to go to sleep. Um, I don't know what it was. It might have been my intuition, but boy, was I very much right. Because when I woke up, an entire fight had broken out inside the living room. Like, there were fists flying everywhere and shit. Everyone was drunk. I was still high. Called my pops. I was like, "Hey, Dad, do you think I could stay over here tonight?" He's like, "No, son. You gotta come home." I'm like, "Oh, fuck." So
Wait,
I ended up
so
getting this
do,
fight.
do you know why the fight broke out?
No, I actually don't. Well, actually, no. So Amador's brother Jesus ended up slapping Mom. I mean, I referred to them all as my brothers, but so he ended up slapping Mom. I don't know what it was over, but he was shit-faced drunk, and so her boyfriend ended up punching her son in the fucking face, and like I instantly sprung up and just like I'm holding this guy against the fridge and I'm holding Jesus against the counter, and I'm just eating their fucking punches. Um, and eventually shit escalates down. I take Chris outside, and Jesus is just sitting there yelling, "I'm Jesus," like he's a. It was so much was going on, um, and then that we ended up after that we ended up lighting fireworks and whatnot, and I guess that was it. So that's the story of Mississippi Queen.
So you still don't know why he slapped her?
No, I actually have no reason whatsoever. I don't know.
Damn.
Um, but there was also another time where I downed the entire bottle of Pink Winnie, but that's its own fucking monster. That's a story for another time.
Alright, who wants to be the one to pick our next topic? Actually, Connor, you pick our next topic.
I don't fucking know.
Why? It can be anything.
Like I say, we've kind of steered towards topics of being high and fucking drunk.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like let's move on a little bit from that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm quite liking the stories ideas. I was gonna say like, what's like the craziest like reasons for breakup or fucking whatever.
Actually, that's not a bad topic. Let's do that one.
That really isn't a bad topic because I have a nice story for that one.
I do too. You want to go first? Who wants to go first?
Peter.
You want to go
All
first,
right.
Peter?
Yeah, I'll go first. Let's go to sleep downstairs right quick so we don't have to worry about phantoms. There are monsters nearby. Fuck off. We'll just sit here and spam this bed until it lets me go to sleep. Alright. So, this story is called KFC Meltdown.
Alright.
Well, I'll probably rename it at the end of the story because there's a lot of things that tie into this shit.
Wait.
So
Hold
we're
on.
gonna
Connor,
start
where the
off.
fuck are you? Oh, no. Come on up. Where is he?
I am nowhere with you guys.
So I'm
Evidently.
actually gonna leave some. I'm gonna leave some parts of this story out, mainly because I was a minor at this time and I don't want to get doxxed for any of this.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
So we went to KFC. It was during a marching band competition back in high school, and I was in this crazy stuck relationship with this chick. Um, we're just gonna call her Micah for personal reasons. Um, and we were both in band. But anyways, we had a 3 hour break between how to the competition, which was like stayed away, and just chill time. And so me and my girlfriend at the time decided, hey, we're gonna go to KFC for a date. Um, and so I we ended up getting into a booth, right? And this is where a lot of the asses get for. I'm just gonna say things were done in the booth. I won't say what for personal reasons and safety reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, after the fact that we left KFC, I ended up having to get on the bus, and I wasn't able to talk to her for the entirety of the trip. And once I finally get service after the competition, she is just lighting me up. I got like 90 missed messages, like 30 missed calls. I don't know what this chick wants. Like, I've been treating her right all day. I talk to her as much as I can, at least.
Yeah.
Um, and she's just going ape shit off the wall on me and be like, da 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 da. Why did we do this in KFC? I was like, you wanted to do that. And like you were the one that brought up the fact that, hey, we should do this. This would be fun. I'm like, alright, cool. So I'm like on the bus ride home, and I'm just on the phone call, just eating it from her and shit. Um, she just called me every name under the sun and whatnot, and I'm just looking at my friend who's in the bus seat next to me, and he's just wide-eyed. Like, the shit that she was saying was just
So
like,
out of that world.
it was just so out of fathomability that it was just like,
Like
I can't.
she was saying some out of pocket shit.
Yeah. Um, and she was talking about how she doesn't love me enough and how she doesn't like me because I have all these rats and shit. And I was like, and so I spoke up and I was like, well, for one, I do not like the fact that you have rats because you don't take care of your fucking rats. This psycho bitch, till this day, she believes that it is okay for the rats to die in the cage and let the other rats eat the rat.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So she was yelling at me about that and whatnot, and she was like, "I wish I never went to KFC with you. You're a piece of shit. All you do is fucking play your stupid fucking instrument and don't even talk." And I was like, "No, I I don't know what you want me to really say at this point, you know." Um, and so we get halfway on the bus ride home, and I uh I get off the bus, and there the man himself is waiting for me with her crying daughter who is victimizing herself, her big ass, bulk ass trucker dad, fucking Sweet Home Alabama, straight off the pavement, white as fuck. Um, and this guy looks like he's furious, like he's about to fucking lasso me with a rope and strangle me to death. Um,
He's about to put you out to the cotton field, huh?
Yeah. So he walks up to me. He's like, "So I dropped my daughter off to KFC earlier today, and you did what?" I was like, "Listen."
Oh no.
I'm
Okay.
like, I'm like, Adam, listen.
My
So
guy, you need to understand.
I'm like 16, 17 at this point. I'm like shaking in my fucking boots and uniform. I don't know
Uh-huh.
what to say to this guy. Like, there's nothing I can say. I'm like, hey, I don't know what your daughter told you or whatnot, or like, but like, yeah, shit happened. Like, but it was like, she, she made the
She
first move, and
wanted
I
it.
just, she made the first move, and I followed in pursuit. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, your daughter's crazy as fuck. She needs to go to a therapist. I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of laying it out to this guy to save my own ass.
Yeah.
She's sitting there screaming at me, yelling at me and shit, and just being a real fucking nut about it. And my band director comes over and is just like observing the situation, and like me and my band director are real close, like we're tight. And I'm just looking at him and I was like, bro, are you gonna save me? Are you gonna tell him to get off the grounds? Are you gonna like, what are you gonna do to help me out, Mr. Rosinski? Uh, And so I'm getting yelled at by her dad and her, and then her mom sets out the car, and then I'm getting yelled at for her. And I just walk away. At this point, I was so fed up with this, and I had such a long ass day. My lips were fucking bruised from playing my trombone all fucking night. I was exhausted. I was tired. I just wanted to go home and sleep. I just simply walked away. Um, and the next day, well, that next morning, she calls me, most out of the fucking
Let me
blue.
guess. Hold on. Let me guess. She was calling, being like, "I'm sorry. I'm so wrong. I was so wrong for doing that to
Oh,
you, Baby. I love you, Baby."
bingo. That's exactly what she did. She was calling,
Yeah.
and not even that. She didn't even say sorry. She just was talking to me like nothing had happened the night before. That's what pissed me off even more is that she acted like none of it even happened. Her parents even acted like none of it happened. I was like, are you guys just all a bunch of like self-inflicted mental victimizing ward patients or
Assholes.
what?
Like,
Assholes. And she was like, "Oh, I really love you," and stuff like that. You know, I'm super sorry for that. I was like, you know what, Micah, this isn't gonna work out. You clearly need help, and I also think you shouldn't have rats anymore. Um, and she got like super offended at that, and she started bitching at me over the phone, and I just hung up.
Well, what did she
Um,
expect you to do after a situation like that?
yeah, right.
She literally threw
it
you
was
into the ground.
yeah, it was a shit
Like
show to say the least.
it was all super uncalled for, man.
Oh yeah, and
Also,
this was actually the last time we broke up because we actually dated maybe 4 times before this.
And you
This was
didn't learn your lesson?
no, because she just got crazier and crazier. It started off the first 2 times were fine, and then I don't know, it's just something about her just kept bringing me back. And that final time, I'm just like, you know what? This is not what I need. So that day, I didn't even say anything. She was just mid bitching me out that next morning after being all sweet to me. And I just hung up, and that was it. And then she ended up moving away, and I've never heard from her again.
So, what did you title this particular this particular story?
bitches be crazy.
I'm still gonna keep it at KFC meltdown.
You want to go next, Connor, or should I?
I'll go last.
Okay, okay. So, I'm gonna title this. My daddy told me to.
Oh,
Um, so this was I was almost in high school. I would say around eighth grade. Um, so this was before I lost my faith. For those curious, I am an atheist. I was baptized. I used to be a Baptist. So I went to a Baptist church. And you guys will see why I don't like. I will never, ever, ever, ever again date a woman I met at church because of this
Oh
reason.
boy.
And it's not, I shouldn't say that, like, reasonably I know not all women are like this, you know? But it kind of, it's the reason I hate going to church now.
Right.
More than, like, I'm not religious anymore, but it's like, this is one of those reasons. So, I was in eighth grade going to church. And I'm obviously going to change some names around because as much as I don't like this woman, um, I don't want her to get any harassment. Even though I know that like not a lot of people are, like watch us, but just for safety for them because I'm a human being and I
if we
don't
ever
want
pop off
them.
as well, you know, if we ever get popped
Yeah,
up,
yeah. Like I don't want them catching any flack
I think they
as much
keep
as I
names
would
out.
like it if they did. Because I'm gonna say it now, they do kind of deserve any flack that they would get. So I was in eighth grade, going to church, and the pastor's son, he was in high school, maybe around this time. He was like a sophomore. I don't know how you guys in Britain do
Uh,
it,
we don't
but
really have those type of names. We just call them like by years, like year 8, year 9.
he would be so eighth grade would have been like middle school. So year 9, he would have been around a year 10, 11.
Yeah, so for
He
us that would be like
he was
there's a fucking uh
he's
I
not
can't
quite
remember.
in college, but he's almost there, right?
Right.
So he has a little fling. Keep in mind, this should have been red flag number 1 for me. I was young and I was dumb. So his fling was a year lower than I was in school. So she was around 7th, 8th. She was around 6th or 7th grade.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's not good.
No, it is not. But nothing came of that, weirdly enough, as much as it should have, because that was
Scary enough.
looking back on it now. It wasn't technically illegal because he was still underage. He was not 18 yet. Very almost illegal. Very almost illegal. Anyway, so this fling, who I will name Frankie,
Terrible.
well, to be in my defense, she does have a man's name, so Frankie is good enough. So we start talking. She's nothing like me, but you know what they say: opposites attract, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And so we get a liking to each other, and I tell my mom that I'm interested in her. My mom lays a few ground rules, which, looking back on it now, she was completely fucking justified in doing. But
Oh, yeah.
at the time, I thought they were dumb. She said no hugging from the front because she didn't want me feeling her chest against mine, and she didn't want her feeling my package. She said no kissing, and she said the most that we could do was hand holding and side hugs. Again, at the time, I thought that was fucking mental. Because I'm in 8th grade. I'm basically an adult. Keep in mind, I was like 13, 14 at the time. She was 12, 13.
Yeah.
So, like, looking back on it now, even if we were to do something, like, we were too young. We were
Right.
just too young. Thank God nothing came of it. So there were a few times where things got a little bit racy, like things got a little heated. Nothing came of it. So I'm going to skip a bunch of boring shit because things weren't really eventful between us. So one day, I will say there were many phone calls where she would talk about other guys that like made her feel a type of way, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a cuck, I promise you. At the time, I wanted to kill something. That is how much it made me angry. And looking back on it now, I'm still angry about it.
Right.
So, me and Frankie, it's like after, because Connor and Peter, I don't know if you guys know, I don't know how many churches you've been to.
I've been
Baptist churches tend to have a Wednesday service that they do in the afternoon and like in the evening, and they have a morning or like a Sunday morning service that we're all accustomed to. So it was, if I recall correctly, towards the end of the Wednesday service, and me and Frankie, like, she pulls me outside, and there's a little awning where she pulled me. It's like a little awning, it's a walkway. And she pulled me outside, and she was like, I need you to break up with me. And I'm like, obviously, I'm like confused because if she wanted to break up, like reasonably, it's like she would do it to me, right?
Right.
I'm like, pause, timeout. Why do you need me to break up with you? Oh, I just don't break up with people. That's just not what I do. No. Like, you're misunderstanding. Why do you need me to break up with you? Because I don't do that. And because my dad told me to. Like, my dad doesn't like you. I'm just like, me and your dad are so fucking, like, I have nothing against your dad. Well, my dad said that you didn't have a strong enough handshake. Fucking what?
What?
That is a real reason that she told me that we needed to break up. I did not make that up. That is a genuine reason. That is apparently the reason her dad doesn't like me. And I'm just like, pardon? Like, I must have I must have, like, misheard you or something. It sounded like to me that your dad said that I have a baby handshake. Keep in mind, I do not. I do normal handshake shit, where it's like, where you shake someone's hand and you try to match their grip, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That is how people normally, like, that is how you are typically taught how to shake people's hands. Well, apparently I did not match it right, and her dad did not like that. But at the when it comes, I'm sorry, like, to this day I am baffled by the fact that that her dad thought I had a little baby man handshake. So I'm just like sitting there, I'm like so fucking confused. Like, who would it be, right? And it takes a little bit of coercing on her part for her to be like, just break up with me. And it's just like, eventually I got so fucking annoyed and pissed off that it's like, okay, fine, I'm done. I'm breaking up with you. And it was much of the vein of like how Peter did it. Like, I hate the way that you talk to me about other dudes. I wish that we had never gotten together. I hope you burn in the house fire. You know? And she's like, oh my god, thank you so much. I want you guys to understand. She just had her third kid.
What?
And I know why. I know today, like, to this day, I know the real reason that her dad didn't like me, and it was because that her dad wanted her to get married and have kids at a really young age. And it was just like, I evidently wasn't the guy to do that for her, right?
Right.
And so her dad didn't like that, which I need you guys to also understand. That family is a literal crackhead family. Like, actual druggies. So, the very fact that her dad did not like my handshake and tried to pass that off as, well, I want my daughter to get railed and you're not railing her for me. I'm almost certain that he wanted to rail her himself. And she's a fine young lass. Like, I'm not, Peter, Connor, she is a baddie. Like, to this day, she's sexually attractive.
Right.
But it's the fact that Daddy told me to. That is like, you guys probably thought I was like memeing that was a joke title. No, it was literally Daddy told me to.
That's funny. No, I'm super glad that you, I mean, I don't want to say that I'm glad that you got broken up with, but I'm also glad that you got broken up with because, damn, I don't think you would have liked having to have 3 kids with that kind of family.
3 different baby daddies.
Wow.
3 different baby daddies. One of which looks like he's fucking 12. The most recent baby daddy is, yeah, it's like, you just could have broken up with me. I didn't feel the love. Like, it wasn't coming in the air tonight. Like, it's
Right.
no big deal. I'm not gonna bash you for not wanting to be in a relationship with me.
But I also feel like maybe she doesn't like breaking up people because she wants the other person to be able to keep their pride intact. That's like a common thing. Is you know,
Well,
being broken up with hurts.
but in the end, it's like, she was asked. Had another week gone by, I would have broken up with her regardless.
Right.
You know. But in the end, I did not break up with her. She still broke up with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, she forced your hand to, so.
Exactly. So in the end, I did not break up with her. She broke up with me.
Right.
Because you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
She indirectly broke up with you. That's yeah. What about you, Connor?
Well, as some know, well, I've just recently gone through a breakup.
Which was kind of, I feel like this was an odd topic from you because of that fact.
Yeah.
But
And with that being said, you don't have to. You could pass.
Yeah, we
see,
can just go on to another topic.
this is this is a different type of breakup. But obviously, I've only just recently come out of one, so breakup was quite of a topic that come on my mind. But obviously, I'm still pretty hurt about it with what happened. Don't get me wrong, still absolutely love this person. I don't think I'll ever stop for any time soon. But I'm gonna call this story Valentine's takeover.
I like this.
So no names. Call this person Sarah.
Captain Quark.
So this I'm gonna call this person Quarf. Quarf. Yeah.
Quandale Dingle. Yeah, I'm gonna use that name for my next story.
But I got with this person called Quarf, right? The only reason as such I got with this person was because it was during a time I lost my dad. So I was in an emotional state, I wasn't really thinking straight. It was almost like a rebound.
Right.
Oh no.
So I got with this person because they were there for me and stuff like that, and I ended up it was almost falling like into a trap. This person called
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm going to summarize for the listeners what this woman did to Connor. She recognized, and this is for those of you that are like hurting or you've lost someone, kind of like Connor. She took advantage of his emotional state. And basically, like, she held it over his head, like, you're gonna fall in love with me because you just lost someone very important to you. For those of you out there that have lost someone, and if a relationship feels too good to be true, like this, don't fall for it, please. Like, I am personally begging you.
But yeah,
Anyway,
It feels too good. Don't do it.
if it looks good, don't always eat it. That's what I say.
Right.
But during this time, it's coming up towards Valentine's Day as well, because it was fairly recent, the time of my dad passing, and Valentine's Day is quite very similar. But this person had Dante. Remember we had this conversation about how people like take advantage of the fact of his mental health issues, and they're not actually diagnosed,
Yeah,
and they blame a lot
yeah.
of their actions on like,
They're
oh my god, I've got like BPD and stuff like that.
yeah. I because we were talking about oh, what was the conversation? We were talking about how we didn't like people that pretended to be trans, and
Yeah,
people that were like, I'm bipolar, therefore X action is justified.
but this person was
I
very.
remember a very specific person that you friended on Facebook was a part of this conversation.
But we all right. We don't need to talk about this right now. But basically, this person very much so did a lot of that. They blamed a lot of their actions on like their split personality or whatever. Like they will
Mhm.
personally cause issues, blame it on their BPD and stuff like that. It's like they were
Real,
undiagnosed.
real scumbag shit.
Yeah, yeah, proper scumbag shit. And obviously at the time I was going through a hard time. We ended up getting together, and it got pretty bad throughout the entire. We were together for like a couple of weeks, but there were a uni student at the time, and they were living in a uni apartment, and there's only one way in and out of that building, and that's via a key card.
Uh,
I didn't have a key card, obviously. I did not live in that building. That was not my issue. But I ended up being locked in this quartz part place for close to 2 weeks because I couldn't leave. There was no way for me to leave. I couldn't get out, and they did the whole mental trip. Like every time I went to go do something, go to smoke, they'll pull like the "Are you coming back? Are you leaving me?" Blah blah blah.
oh,
And at that
okay,
time,
yeah.
I'm quite emotionally weak at the time. You know, my mental state was really weak. So but I couldn't leave the building. I couldn't get back into the building even if I wanted to because I didn't have the key card. Only they did, and I ended up being locked in their place for 2 weeks. Major red flag as it was.
So
You know,
wait, your relationship lasted all of 2 weeks.
a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
No, because
I
we were seeing each other.
sincerely.
We were seeing each other beforehand. Like it was just
Okay, okay,
I.
okay.
It was just within those 2 weeks where things was like, yeah, okay.
Really bad.
Yeah, and that was first big major red flag was the fact that I couldn't leave.
Yeah, I personally speaking, I would have left then.
But obviously there had been
I would have like, personally speaking, I would have like asked someone else to like open the door. Like I would have gotten someone else.
yeah,
Like I would have asked like another because it was like a dorm, right?
it was very similar to a dorm.
So I'm assuming multiple people lived in this one space.
Numerous did, yes, but I didn't know any of them.
Well, even then, I would have been like, yo, this crazy bitch has just trapped me in this fucking dorm, and just like, listen, please let me out.
Oh, don't get me wrong, it very much so did end up like that way. Oh,
Uh-oh, Peter died.
I'll wait until he gets back. Oh, there's an enchantment table down.
So, I don't know if I'm allergic to salt water or something, because I did not have these little red bumps on my arms until after I drank that salt water.
God knows.
I have to keep an eye on that, see if it happens again. They're still on my arm, so hold on. Well, now it's dead quiet.
Just waiting for Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, why? Yeah, his Wi-Fi dipped.
Yeah. I was assuming so.
Alrighty, guys. So yeah, my Wi-Fi had a little bit of a
Hiccup.
shit. Yeah, but I'm back.
All right. So back to the story. But come Valentine's Day, the main reason why it all turned bad was due to Valentine's Day. But
Wait.
this core.
They trapped you because they wanted to be with you on Valentine's. Is that what I'm coming to understand?
There was a lot more. There was a lot more to it.
Okay.
But come Valentine's Day, it was painful the entire way through Valentine's Day. Like they spent Valentine's Day like all for them basically.
I've known a few people like that.
And you know, Valentine's Day is about the both of you. You know, the
Yeah,
celebration of love
it's
and stuff like
about
that.
celebrating your love for one another.
But they spent most of Valentine's Day all on themselves. You know, doing stuff they wanted to do. And every time I would be like, I want to do this, they were like, no.
No, yeah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah.
ended,
I know people exactly like that,
we ended up
and it's
going.
incredibly unfair.
We ended up going on a meal and stuff like that. You know, all this is spent with my money. You know, buying
Of
stuff.
course, naturally.
And
Of course.
I wanted to then like head back home. You know, lay down. You know, kind of watch movies. You know, as you would. Like
Yeah.
after a long day meal and stuff like that. Who wouldn't want to just lay down, watch movies, and cuddle, basically?
And just chill out, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't feel like is too much to ask.
We ended up getting back. You know, this Quorf had the audacity to just fall asleep.
What do you remember what you were watching?
No, we didn't even watch a movie. They just got into bed and fell asleep.
Oh, okay.
Even though they knew I had the idea to like, do stuff and stuff like that, they ended up just going to bed. And it's like, oh. So I didn't get any choice on Valentine's Day. It was all about them, pretty much. I never did anything I wanted to do, and that really upset me. Very much so upset me. You know, I've just spent loads of money, blah blah blah, and it's just like the entire day was just focused on Korf.
Yeah.
And I didn't end up sleeping. You know, I was pretty pissed off. I was not too happy. I didn't sleep quite much.
Yeah, you were pretty wrecked because of it, I'm sure.
And I ended up messaging a few friends, in this group chat I had. I knew quite a lot of them from my work, and I explained the situation, and even they was like, "Yeah, that's fucked." You know, Valentine's Day shouldn't just be about one person.
Yeah.
Right.
And I explained the situation how I couldn't leave. I needed the key card to leave. And all of them was like, "Yeah, you need to get out." And I was like, "Mate, after today, I'm not doing this. You know, this is something that I don't want to be doing. Where it's all about them 24/7." And they ended up coming to the uni place, and they even messaged Korf, and they ended up waking up and seeing the messages, with the intention of me saying pick up with them, which was very much so. And they didn't react very well.
Naturally, yeah, I would assume.
For those that don't much know about me, I've had a very rough childhood, and I don't do well with fighting and physical harm. And
Yeah.
this set
Wait,
forth.
they threatened self-harm.
No, they threw shit and did.
Okay. I don't know if I'm happy that I was wrong or very upset that I was wrong.
You was close to being right. But
At the same time, I don't know if I want to be.
I have a very bad trigger for things being thrown at me. Korf was throwing objects at me, hitting me. A certain object flew across my face, which was the bit that triggered me the most. And they ended up going into the bathroom and slamming their head against the wall. So you was very, very close to self-harm.
Okay. Not
And
entirely what I was expecting, but
and
yeah,
it
makes sense.
all got very overwhelming. You know, there was throwing stuff, triggering me, shouting, calling me names, and it got to the point where I ended up just grabbing the keycard and leaving. I yoinked off the side and I just left. And I had all my friends went outside, and we ended up just walking off because it got so bad, and obviously I was really, really fucking triggered by
Acting like a petulant child, pretty
pulling how
much.
you don't love me, blah blah blah. Um,
Yeah, they were literally acting like a fucking child, and that's not right.
and you'd think it would end there.
Oh no.
Um,
I now understand why you wanted to go last because this is a fucking odyssey.
a couple of days later, they came to my work, and
Again, let me guess, did they pull the same shit that Peter's ex did during the KFC meltdown?
kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
There are numerous. There's quite a long story, but before I lost my dad, I lost a very good friend of mine called Kate. They suicidal. They committed suicide, and this Quarf pretended to act like they knew them.
No.
Whilst we were together, they were not like very. When I found out about the news, you know, I was at Quarf's, and it hit me quite hard. You know, I knew this person very, very well. So once I found out,
Like they didn't actually know them, right?
no, they only like spoke once or twice. They didn't actually know each other, and
I fixed your mic, Peter.
Thanks.
it got pretty bad. They but that can wait until after. But they came to my work, and they they spread around my work that I used them for sex.
What?
They came to my work and spread the rumor that I used them for sex.
That's crazy.
Like,
You objectified her,
Yes.
basically?
yeah.
They tried to make out that I was only using them for sex, etc., etc. But
Okay.
if anyone knows me the most, that would be people at my work. And
Yeah, right.
I'm not a very sexual person. You know, I don't know if Dante you knew about as well, but like I'm not all about
Yeah.
like, you know, sex, blah blah blah. You know, I don't really look at people and be like, oh yeah, I'd fuck that and stuff like that. There was a very long period of time where people assumed I was asexual, because I just wouldn't look at female bodies and be like, oh wow, I would hit that, blah blah blah. I wouldn't look at titties, ass, nothing like that. I was respectful.
Yeah, never mind the fact that you actually lost a relationship due to this very fact, because you and I were making the joke that making jokes about porn stars for like an entire night. It pissed off one of your potential mates.
Yeah.
Ah,
And
Granted, you and I think that that was really funny.
no, it
I
was
think
hilarious.
We still make fun. We still make jokes about that to this day.
Yeah.
Oh, Connor, I don't know if you remember the title of the porn video you gave me that night. I still have it in my notes, and I still haven't watched it yet.
You need to fucking watch it.
ah.
But yeah, obviously my place of work know me very, very well. Everyone there, you know, I've actually got like family that works there too. You know, it just so happens, Peter, that the sister you were saying you would smash works with me. And if anyone would know me better, that would be my own family and co-workers and staff and friends. They all go there, and they went to the wrong place to try spread that.
Yeah,
And,
to try to pull that.
and oh boy, oh they got pure shit on. We're talking diarrhea, fucking just eating fucking Taco Bell for 4 nights in a row.
Like, are we talking like Hershey squirts type
Oh,
of
we're
doo-doo-don?
talking just drank an entire bottle of hot sauce, Hershey Squirts, Taco Bell, fucking food poisoning. We are talking about right now.
Laxatives type shit.
We are just talking about they just got purely shit on, because everyone knew it wasn't true. Everyone knew also And
I don't think you told me the fine details like you are now, but I think you told me about this.
but yeah, they come to my work and try to spread this rumor. They ended up getting barred from my pub, from the place I worked at, because
You did tell me about this.
there was causing so many issues with like trying to spread lots of rumors about me, and it really didn't end well. But this then leads to a story that happened a couple months, probably a couple of weeks after. I work at two places. I work at a nightclub and a rock bar. This ties to the part where about how I lost a very good friend of mine. They tried to pull the "I want free drinks because I lost a friend."
Yep, you did tell me about this. I remember now.
That's really scuzzy.
This friend that they didn't know, but I knew very well. And I also worked at this place, so I got told almost instantly. I found out, and I lost my living shit because this corp didn't know anything about this person who lost their life, and they tried to get free drinks off their death. You can only imagine how pissed off I can be about that. And
Right,
everyone knew this person as well. Everyone in the community knew this person very well. So the moment they tried to pull that shit, they almost instantly got barred from every pub and every venue in the area.
Yeah, yes.
And
Justice is served as it should be.
I ended up messaging them and losing the living shit. I was beyond pissed off. No one should be able to do that.
No.
It's safe to say that you were beyond livid at this point.
I was fuming. You know, I wasn't too fussed about, you know, spreading rumors about me. You know, not everyone knew it wasn't true. But once you try to use a very close person's death to get free drinks,
Yeah. Someone that you don't even personally know.
no, you can only assume how pissed off everybody was because it was still fresh. You know, it only happened that year. You know, it was still very much so fresh, and everyone was still in mourning. So to try to pull that shit for someone who didn't actually know the person really didn't end well for this corp. But yeah, that's that.
The Valentine's takeover, man.
Yeah.
You guys want to do one more topic and then we'll cut it?
Yeah, we can do that.
Anyone have any ideas what our next topic should be?
Let me see. Alright. Most memorable time of your life.
Personally, I've already talked about that.
No? Shit. I don't know, what do you think, Dante?
So we've talked about being high, we've talked about being drunk, we've talked about crazy shit that happened at our jobs, and we talked about
The craziest breakups.
craziest breakups. I feel like we should then, and Connor, you don't have to participate in this at all, but what about our best relationships?
We can do that, yeah.
You want to, Connor?
Yeah, I need to roll a fag. I need to roll something if I'm going to be talking about this. 'Cause it's actually probably my recent breakup.
Yeah, I thought it would be, and that's why I said you don't have to if you don't want to.
No, it's alright. I can talk about this.
Who wants to go first? No! How?
What in the living fuck?
What the fuck?
Wait, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the hell just happened?
Alright, we need to remake this campfire.
What the hell just happened?
A creeper came out of literally nowhere.
How? This entire area is lit up.
Yeah, and on top of that, how did it get up here?
I also closed the door as I left. It's fucking bright as day outside. There
No,
shouldn't.
no, 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 no! It literally fell from the top.
What the f?
Like let me show you. It fell. Come here. It fell right here and walked to Peter.
Yeah,
What
that
the
was
fuck?
inevitable. There was nothing I could do about that.
Yeah, like I could not have registered that. Like that was way too fast. Yeah, I have to. God damn it. There was another creeper outside. Like right by the outside door. Was that the one that you were talking about, Connor?
Yeah, I assumed that was the one that came up, but I was like, no.
No, it literally fell from behind me.
That like I say, the creeper wouldn't have seen you even if he was.
And it wouldn't have been able to get to us either.
Alright.
No, like a creeper literally fell from behind me.
Slight intermission before we start this.
Yeah,
video.
yeah, we're gonna need a minute. That's mental.
So alright, chat. During this slight intermission, if you have any topics or any ideas that us guys can talk about in future podcasts, please feel free to let us know.
Don't hesitate to let us know, because we'll literally talk about anything till the cows come home.
Yeah, and a constant reminder: please do not.
If you
so
magically figure out like who we're talking about, like don't
Yeah.
send hate.
Don't send hate. You know, everything is best to be kept anonymous. Don't. If you find a way to message these people, please don't message these people. Stay out of their inbox. We want everything
Be
to
smart.
Yeah,
Like just don't be a cocksucking asshole about it.
yeah. At the end of the day, everyone does have their own lives. We don't want to make people feel like shit more than they really have felt like shit. So yeah.
I hope that we were able to salvage everything, because I'm actually kind of mad that happened. I don't know how it happened. How did it spawn there? Because it had to have spawned there.
I just don't know.
Because there's zero way for them to have gotten up here.
It just came from the sky. I don't know.
Like God was like, nah, fuck you.
Right, we just need one more.
Like
We need a.
I'm looking around. There is no way. Because I even put a lip. I put a lip on the side of the building, like you can see it from the bottom, so that nothing could get up here. Like spiders and shit couldn't get up here, because I was planning on leaving this open. But I guess that dream's dashed now.
Right.
Oh, Connor, is the... Ow.
We need
Okay, it is.
we just need one more
Lever.
yeah.
Moderator, is this yours?
Yeah. Because I'm known more as moderator than Connor.
Connor. Do we still have... Okay, yeah. That's mine. That's Connor's. And that's
Mine.
yours.
And then this can if we ever have a special guest.
Yeah, if we ever have a guest on here.
Anyone got any wood on them?
You have another lever?
I do. Where did that go? Okay.
I got it, yep.
That is mind-blowing that just happened.
Yeah. I'm just glad that this was an easy fix and there wasn't
Yeah,
nothing.
like, this was, like, minimal damage. Now we definitely need, like, glass or something.
Yeah, I actually have glass smelting. Yeah, we got a whole 64 of glass right now.
Hopefully that'll be enough to, like, start doing some shit.
Yeah. But I'll probably do that afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you end up getting that lever?
Yeah,
No.
you're...
Okay, that one's too close.
But yeah, I like this has been a pretty nice start for today.
We've still got that one last topic, but this intermission.
Right.
Oh, that creeper, man.
Yeah, that, and you know what the first painting that popped up when I tried to put that out in the back frame was? The
What?
creeper.
Oh man. Uh-oh, creeper.
So we all ready?
Yeah,
We all set.
yeah.
Hope. Let's pray to God that no more creepers rain from the fucking sky. That'd be
I need my
pissed.
microphone.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah, we should probably hop on that. Here, it's right from the manufacturer. So woo, we got it just mailed in for you.
Oh yeah, nice and fresh.
Nice and fresh, never used.
Alright, there we go.
So let me make sure I put that on. So this one's for the special guest. We'll have to deal with that later.
Alright, so who's going first? So
Yeah, who's gonna talk about their best relationship first?
Dante, I'll go second. I'll leave this off one with you.
I'll start.
Yeah.
All right. So you two actually know who I'm talking about, but I'll still keep things secret because, like, I don't want you two harassing her. I don't want anybody on Discord that knows her harassing her. I just don't. She was very special to me. I don't want anybody.
is this
doing shit
the
to
person who hated my gay relationship with you?
Yes, it is. It is actually.
Okay.
So we'll call her Quandale. Call her Quandale Dingle. So this all started back on my Kick days. It was an online long distance relationship. I guess we're sleeping.
Yeah, we've got,
Alright,
we've got some
intermission.
fans. We've got some fans outside.
Oh yeah.
I can hear them.
Our fangirls.
I can hear them moaning. The fangirls sound very vague like dudes.
Yeah. The fangirls are getting a little thirsty. I cannot rest. I cannot.
I'm just for mine upstairs.
I still cannot sleep.
Wow.
Oh, bro.
The call in chat.
Yeah, calm down, chat, please, for the love of God. Like, we just want to take a nap. Okay, I finally found a spot where they'll let me sleep.
There we go.
Alright, boys. So, this all started back on my Kick days. This was... Actually, I know how long it was. She recently told me how long ago it was. This was 6 years ago.
Oh wow, that was about the time when I met you.
Yep. This was a long time ago.
Fuck off, have I known you for close to 6?
We actually all three met pretty close together.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I think it's been about 7 years.
Yeah, we all met around similar times.
We're getting old. We're getting old, chat.
It's crazy that
We
I've
are
known
getting
you.
old.
It's crazy I've known you guys 6 years. It doesn't feel like it.
No,
It really doesn't. Honestly, to me, it feels longer.
Like Peter,
But I have a very skewed sense of time.
for me and you, Peter, you know, we've always considered ourselves brothers. It's like,
yeah, so
it's been a while.
So this all started 6 years ago on Kick. In a group chat that I did not own, that this Quandale Dingle wanted to get into, but my friend, who you both met, Sans,
yeah.
if that name rings a bell,
Yeah,
Sans kept saying that he would invite Quandale Dingle to this group, and he kept forgetting. So eventually she pestered him bad enough that he did it. She was shy when we first met. Actually, this is bringing back a whole sleuth of memories. from that time because I had another long distance girlfriend that I honestly could have made a craziest breakup story from her alone. But maybe for a different time, or if you guys really want to hear it tonight. And I'm more so talking specifically to you guys, like you do.
Yeah.
So Quandale Dingle joined this group, and she was really shy at first. She did not like talking to me or others. And honestly, this is going to be the only time I break this rule because, like the anonymity rule,
Nah.
because he's at the time that they were together, he was in his mid-20s.
Oh, are you talking about Brandon?
No,
Oh,
actually,
I'm
no.
gonna say because I feel like because at the time I met Dante around the same time as I'm pretty sure Quandale and you were either together or not together.
Yeah.
I don't think we were together at the time.
Yes, because I remember this guy called Brandon. So.
But no, his name was Sean, and he is a
Sean.
real piece of shit. He's a real piece of shit
Didn't have
because
like
she
a-
was 6
Didn't have like a flag
when
in his
she.
name.
I can't remember. He might have. But me and Sean did not get along. Let me rephrase that. I pretended to get along with him. I'm really good at that kind of shit. I still am because it's kind of required. Like you just if you don't like someone, you just at least got to pretend to be nice to them.
Right.
Anyway, so Sean at this time was lusting after Quandale Dingle, and he also had a girlfriend at this time. Keep in mind, the kick stories that I have, the online stories that I have, personally, they're fucking insane. Like, I shit you not. Because Sean's girlfriend at the time, who we'll call V, and no, it's not Vina, in case you're curious, but we'll call her V, she was lusting after me, and I was 16, 17 at the time. And she was older than Sean was. Who, if you guys forgot, was in his mid-20s at this time.
Yeah. No,
And
I
she
remember
was around her 30s. And it's fucking so me and Sean really did not like each other, or like I said, I didn't really like him at all because I mentioned before that I had another long distance relationship with someone before Quandale, and she cheated on me with Sean. For our listeners, that probably sounds kind of weird, but it was role play, and she cheated on me in role play. Whatever, it still hurt. And these two can attest to me because I'm sure they've both had long distance relationships like it.
Yeah.
It still feels like a betrayal. So anyway, like I was saying, so Quandale and Sean, they were pseudo together. Like anytime V wasn't around, they were like macking on each other's faces and shit.
Right.
Real scumbag shit on Sean's part. I'm not saying that Quandale Dingle's entirely free of. Sorry, I have to. I'm not saying that Quandale Dingle is like entirely void of responsibility in this, because she knew that he was taken and she still proceeded to do it. Or like she knew Sean was taken and she still went along with it. So she's got some fault in it too. And so Sean started to cheat on Quandale Dingle, and You two want to guess who's left holding the shitty bag?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah, it was me. But it was me, all right. And keep in mind, if those actions led me to where I am today, and the relationship was exactly the same that she and I had, I would do it again every time. I know that she and I have gotten into some arguments where it's just like I wish I'd never stayed up on those nights where Sean fucked up, but it's like I know damn well, and you both know damn well, I would do it all again if it meant dating her for another 3 years.
Right.
But so Sean did some real scumbag shit. As a matter of fact, I have a story to show how much of a scumbag he was. You two both know who I am talking about, though you may not remember her name. But there is an autistic girl in our groups. She was like a sister to me, if that rings any bells.
Emily?
No, actually. Because I dated Emily. I did not date this person. Though I will admit, when I first met them, I did want to.
Was she the one that slept a lot? That was ill?
No, I don't think so. At least I don't recall her sleeping a lot. I know she wasn't ill. But anyway, so he got nudes from her, but that's okay. Like, he talked her into it. She didn't want to, which is not okay. But she was of age, at least.
Right.
Kirsten, whoops,
Slight intervention.
yeah. Let's move on from the fact that I accidentally name dropped.
We did not condone minor activity, and we
Yeah,
did not
don't be a scumbag to minors. Like, don't do the shit that I'm describing to people.
even then, don't be a scumbag to anyone. Really, it's just
Yeah, like, and don't try to get nudes from someone that doesn't want to give them to you, whether they're of age or not. Definitely, if they're not of age.
If they're not,
like,
you
don't.
shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, if you know that they're underage, like Sean did, like, don't do that. But anyway, Quandale Dingle also sent Sean nudes. Again, underage. Like, I don't want to not stress that enough. Like, there is no stressing that enough. She was 17, maybe 16 still at this time. And I managed to get said nudes of both of them. And you want to know what I immediately did? Immediately? Because I immediately told both of them that he was sharing their nudes with people. Because that's what he was doing. Because he offered to give me their nudes. So I wasn't lying. And I faked being interested in it, when in reality I was just really going to slap him in the fucking face with them, like any reasonable person would. And if you guys think that this is the end of the shit that douchebag did, I want to stress this right now. We did everything we could think of to keep Quandale Dingle away from this man. So much so that Sans' girlfriend at the time, we'll call her Silo. Silo pretended to be another person to send him fake nudes in order to prove a point to Quandale Dingle that he was not a reputable person to be with.
right.
I mean, the fact that she was underage and he was almost like 27 at the time. That didn't scream volumes enough, apparently. But anyway, so me and Quandale Dingle developed a really good relationship with each other due to the fact that I was constantly left holding Sean's diaper booty bag. Like, I shit you not, she recently told me it wasn't that often. I could not think of a 2-week time span where she was not calling me on Kick and crying her eyes out because he was being a fucking dickhead. and cheating on her and making her feel like shit. So, Condell Dingle and I eventually convinced Sean to, you could say, be in an open relationship where I was the third person. It sounds weird now, but again, that was the gateway to me dating her. And so what ended up happening was, eventually, Sean fucked up for the last time. And I still remember this day very vividly. He threatened to go. He threatened to go to her house and kill himself at her doorstep and make her watch, like that. You remember like in Connor here, in Connor's story, how how his ex basically was like, "You don't love me. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other." That is exactly what he did.
Right.
And to this day, I hate him for it. Because that is not the way you deal with relationships, let alone a breakup. But, so Quandale Dingle and I tied the knot. We made it official. And I still remember that day. Because she was in fucking tears, ladies and gentlemen. In tears. Because he was just doing all this extra shit for no reason.
Right.
We ended up dating for maybe a few months until she went to band camp, or something equivalent to the Canadian variety. And what ended up happening was, during her stay at this band camp, she was like, I might not be online anymore. And you could consider that our first breakup. And I remember going to Sands devastated. Like, I was on the verge of crying.
Right.
And keep in mind, I'm not the kind of guy that really cries over relationships that often. Like, I rarely do it. I'm kind of checking behind me to make sure there's no creepers there. I don't often cry about relationships. It's just not who I am. It's not something I believe in. Like, yeah, it hurts, it sucks, but we all got to move on.
Right.
And I'm gonna kind of like show how little I did that after we broke up, because to this day I still love her with all my heart. Quandale Dingle, if you hear this, I'm saying it now. If you ever needed a shoulder to cry on, or if you ever wanted to date me again, I would jump on the opportunity like a cat on catnip. Like, I would be all over it. But at the same time, I highly doubt it's going to happen.
Right.
So she was gone for a hot minute. She was not around. I don't know if you remember this, Zoto. There was a long period where she was not around.
Yeah, no, I do recall. She didn't exist for a very long while.
So, I ended up getting into, at the time, 3 different relationships. One with Yasmin. I don't know if you guys remember her, but one with Yuki. Yeah. And then, I don't know if either of you remember her, because I rarely talk about her, because every time I do it pisses me off. Elizabeth.
I do remember Elizabeth.
I don't.
I cannot stand that woman.
Is that the Bats trick?
Yep, that was her.
Yeah,
you remember her.
Story,
I'm going to quickly go on a side tangent, like a little side story about her. She constantly accused me of cheating, which I did not do.
Yeah.
There seems to be a reoccurring theme here. I've also
there really is.
I believe I've dated your current.
Yes, you have dated my current girlfriend before. But anyway,
it seems like there's a trio thing going on here.
Anyway, So, Bats had the brilliant idea to accuse me of cheating in the group chat, where everyone liked me. No one had a negative thing to say about me in this group chat. Do you remember that day, Peter?
Yeah.
Because I remember it so
I
vividly.
was also on board
She got
with
put
you.
on fucking blast. So much so that she left. And I eventually left her. And I do
After
not
that,
regret it.
that same exact day, because at the time I was one of your closer friends in the chat at the time. That same day after she left, she blew me up, telling me how much of a scumbag you were. And I was just kind of idly listening, like, yeah, okay. And then
uh,
later on, we also, me and her got together. And then
wait, really? You
yeah,
absolute dunce! Why would you have done that?
yeah. You know what? Sad times call for sad measures.
Dude, you absolute fucking moron.
I
Did you
know, and
learn nothing?
I regretted I knew it was a bad idea, and I jumped the gun.
Actually, that reminds me. The girlfriend that cheated on me with Sean, um, she was Sans' girlfriend,
Yeah,
I didn't know it at the time. And she got with me, and, he eventually, I told him that after, like, they had broken up, I told him that I told Sans I was dating her, and he was like, you shouldn't be doing that. I was like, why? She's fucking insane. I very quickly found out what he meant. Like, I soon learned. So, take it from me, and actually take it from all of our experiences. If a girl acts fucking insane in one relationship, don't get into a relationship with them. Why did you do that?
if she does it once, she'll do it again.
Yeah, like, Connor, why did you do that? What? Stop. Anyway, so I got into 3 different relationships after Quandel Dingle left. Only one of which I regretted. Granted, before Bats and I started dating, I'd only known her for like 2 hours, and then we started dating because I was so sad. I just needed someone at the time. And yeah, don't do that, guys. If you're in a vulnerable spot, don't rush to a relationship. It's not worth it. It only entertains.
Can we take a second to look at this orange, amazingness?
Oh, that is nice.
It was a lot brighter before you walked over here.
That's not nice. It still looks cool.
Yeah.
But I rushed into a relationship with Bats because I was sad that Quandel Dingle left. Which, oddly enough, she came back in the middle of that relationship, and it felt really weird.
Yeah.
And I had also made Quandel Dingle the promise that if and when she came back, she would be my top pick. However, I did not want to break up with Bats out of fear that she would accuse me of cheating on her with Quandel Dingle.
Yeah.
Eggs on my face, she went and fucking did it anyway. So, I eventually got back with Quandel Dingle. She and I had been on again, off again, until the final 2 years, I'd say, where it was paradise.
Right.
Literal paradise. I'd never been happier. Until it came time for me to leave my home state of Louisiana and to move to Maine. In which she and I made a promise that when I'd finished moving and once I'd gotten settled in, we would start looking for other people. She found someone. And the day that she told me, I was devastated. And you know how I was like, don't threaten suicide to anyone that's found someone? I broke that rule. I really did. I was that devastated. Keep in mind, I'm not the kind of guy that normally does that. But in that moment, I was so heartbroken that I did. And Quandale Dingle, you know who you are. As a matter of fact, I accidentally name dropped you earlier. I don't know if anyone caught that, but I accidentally name dropped you earlier, so you most definitely know who you are. And if you are listening, it's kind of obvious that it's you. I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart. That was not me reacting that way. I was just upset, for the lack of a better term.
Right.
So she found someone. That relationship lasted probably a month or two, and then we kind of got back together. Not really. We were together in spirit.
Right.
But we were not in a relationship. Then one day, as we were role-playing in our private server, she stopped doing sexual roleplay, which I thought was kind of weird, but I didn't read too much into it. Until one day, in DMs, I tried to initiate sex. Like, I tried to get it on. I tried to put the Riz on her.
Yeah.
She did not. She did not reciprocate. And that was the day I found out, yet again, that she'd fallen for someone else. But they were not in a relationship yet. They were thinking about it. And she said that it did not feel right for her to do this kind of stuff with me while also being attracted to someone else. This time, I was much more understanding because this time I was prepared for it. And I was like, it's going to happen at some point. Actually, I did get mad at her solely because she did not say anything sooner. Because she admitted to me that they'd been seeing each other for a hot minute. And it took her until I tried to initiate relations with her that she said something, and that bugged me a little bit. But no, I wasn't like, I'm gonna kill myself if I can't be with you. There was none of that this time. So, and the story's almost over, I promise. Recently, I found out that she lost her virginity, and that hurt like a son of a bitch. Because I wanted it to be me. Like, I am very jealous of her current boyfriend. Which I think that's justified to say, but it's not right. It's not right of me to do it.
It's selfish, but
Yeah, it's selfish. Like, I just wanted it to be me. And I'm going to title this story, The Odyssey of Quandale Dingle.
Alright.
I feel like that's an appropriate title.
So this story is more of it's more like a Sour Patch Kid.
It starts out sour, then it gets sweet.
But it's more of like a reverse Sour Kid. Like there's the sweet on the outside, then there's the sour on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
so
like one of those sweet tarts.
Yeah. So it's a very sweet story. It's a very nice story, and then it kind of just went downhill. So I'm not gonna say names. So we're just gonna call her we're just gonna call her Zoe. So
Okay.
this was back when I was 17 at the time, and she was she was closer to 16. She was about to turn 16 at the time. And I was working at Dairy Queen. So I don't know how, so I was just going around on Snapchat one day. I was, laying in my bed in my pop's house, watching YouTube, playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse. My favorite game, by the way. And I had stumbled across this this person on Quick Ad on Snapchat, and I was like, you know what? Let me just. I need more friends. I'm a homebody. I could do for a conversation or two. So I added this person. I never messaged this person for a while, even after adding them, until one day I looked on her
Oh,
Snapchat story.
just real quick, I forgot to mention in the Odyssey of Quandale Dingle, there was a point in time where she and Sean were together that I got so fed up with trying to make her see like how bad he was. I was so fed up with it. I stopped talking to her for like 2 months. And she eventually messaged me saying that she was ready to leave him. So that happened. Anyway, continue.
And until one day I came across her Snapchat story, and it was just really sad. You know, it was saying like, I wish someone would love me and stuff like that. You know, I wish um, someone would just hold me and tell me it's all right. And she was saying that she
See,
was struggling.
that's a bit of a red flag to me, though.
No, but like, if you, she went through some, the person that she was with prior made her feel that way. Every day, she would be told that she was useless and ugly and stuff like that. You know, it just overall made her feel like trash. So she had a right to desire those needs from someone. Um, and so I slid up on her story, and I was just really just, I wasn't even rizzing her. I was just being straightforward. I was like, I don't even know you, but I just gotta say you're one of the most beautiful women I have ever laid my eyes on, and I'm sure you are as sweet as you look too. You know, you got a kind heart. I can tell you're hurting. Um, and if you ever need someone to talk to, you don't know me. My name's Peter, but I'm here, and I can be the ear that you can listen for. Um, and so she replied with hearts, and she really needed that. Um, I could tell too because she was in a lot of pain. Um, and so eventually we didn't talk for the next week or so after that, and then all of a sudden I was like, I wonder how she's doing. I wonder if she's okay. So I started messaging her, and um, furthermore, we started messaging back and forth and whatnot, and getting more acquainted with each other. Um, this is actually one of the rougher topics to talk about because I still love her to death and see her quite often to this day. Um, but we ended up talking and whatnot, and eventually we ended up getting to the point. It's like, hey, we would like to meet each other. Let's meet up at the park because we lived relatively close, like around the same neighborhood. Um, and so one day after school, I did my homework and I went to the park and we talked. And we just had a really nice time. It was nothing crazy, just two people just shooting shit. Um,
Did you put the Riz on her? Or does that
at
come later?
it came a bit later. At this time, I would say I was more of an awkward folk. I didn't really. I was really awkward talking to people. I wasn't the social butterfly that I am now, to say the
Hmm.
least. Um, and it went from there. Eventually, we ended up talking a little bit more, talking a little bit more seriously, more than friends. And let's see. Um, yeah, we started dating and whatnot. And it was super sweet. This was honestly, and to date, this is probably one of this is no, I'm not gonna say one of this is the most genuine relationship I think I've ever had, and the most heartfelt relationship I've had. Um, she was probably one of the most like lighting aspects of my days. She would always come up and hug me and greet me. Um, every time I seen her, she had a smile on her face. I met her family and whatnot. I would
Wait,
go over.
is this the person that you recently told me about when we were playing Deep Rock Galactic.
No.
Because you told me that one of your exes showed up. Or am I thinking of a different ex?
Go into further detail because it might.
Because you told me that this particular ex is... Because they, like, showed up to your house and they told you that their fiance wasn't treating them that good.
No, this is not the right person. This is the
Okay.
same person. Um, and so I would go over to her house and watch movies and whatnot, and then, you know, it was just super sweet. And it finally came to the day my dad wanted to meet her. So my she lived with her older sister and her older sister's boyfriend, so they all came over and we had a good dinner and whatnot. And my dad, and her older sister's boyfriend were chatting it up, and you know, me, Chloe, and her older sister were talking. And this was like, in my mind, I was like, this is perfect. This is like the American dream, Family Guy material, like high school sweethearts to marriage type thing. Like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be my forever woman. Um,
See,
and
that's
so we,
that's the way I was with Quandale Dingle, because like I had plans to like come and see her in Canada one day,
right,
and obviously it did not come to fruition.
right, and you know, it was just super sweet. The one thing my dad didn't like though is that she was 15 turning 16 and I was 17 turning 18. So that was
Yeah,
the one.
that's well. In your defense, that is only that is only a two-year age gap. So
Right,
Romeo and Juliet would be in effect.
right.
So you would have been fine.
Yeah. However, more or less, I was still careful. You know, I took my dad's words into consideration. You know, um, but anyways, furthermore, um, it was just really nice. You know, going to the park all the time. You know, I met her family. You know, they were super sweet. Um, and even went as far as uh, me, my dad, and my brothers, and his girlfriend, and me and Zoe went to a drive-in movie. You know, it was super sweet. You know, laying out on the car, watching a film, and all that.
Hmm.
You know, uh,
I'm starting to think that Connor like fell asleep.
Nope.
Connor, you
No,
were,
you're still with us, huh?
and you know, it was just super sweet. And down the line one day, and this was after the fact that me and her went to a fair together and whatnot. So I
Was it
think
the
maybe
same
like,
fair where you got
no, no,
so high that you died on the inside?
no. This was a separate time. This
Okay.
was a different summer.
That would be the worst.
Oh yeah.
Like,
So
oh my god, babe, the colors are all blending together and they're making white.
so this is when things started to go a little bit downhill. Um,
Oh no. Oh, I hate this now. 'Cause it
so
was all so nice.
so she she even admitted to me, in the future. We still talk to this day, and she regrets it, and I also regret what I did. She didn't always treat me the best at times.
Hmm.
Sometimes when we were on call or when we were in the car, she would just really
Say
be
some
rude to me,
things. Yeah.
just say some things, and just, you know, just kind of treat me like shit not all the time, just sometimes. Um, and I'm not gonna say it was justifiable. Uh, it was out of pocket, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but she had her moments. And eventually one day, I think I was catching on to the fact that, well, at least I thought she was losing interest because that's what it felt like um, little did I know she was going through losing a family member. Um,
Oh, did she not
and
tell you?
no, she didn't tell me.
Mm.
Um, and I was kind of just being persistent to talk to her, and I think she was just going through so much that she didn't have the time to sit down and talk to me about it. So
Yeah.
there was a communication gap, and one day we got into a big argument um at her house, and it wasn't anything like there was no like physical harm or like any um like
There was no physical touching.
there was no physical touch and there wasn't any like suicidal things. It was more of just like two people just arguing and throwing out cuss words at each other and shit like that.
Yeah.
Basic romance drama. Um,
It was just all verbal.
yeah, it was like basic relationship arguments, but on a 10.
Yeah.
And I said that I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't think this is gonna work. I'm leaving. And so I left and I drove home. And that was probably one of the worst mistakes I made. Because she was a super sweet person, and I wasn't thinking hard enough, and I was just misunderstanding, and I jumped the gun and made an irrational decision to save myself because I thought she was going to
Um,
leave me.
so I have a question for you because this question doesn't really apply to me because I was kind of fucked by the distance, like the literal gap between me and Quandale Dingle.
Right.
But like, had you not said what you said, had you tried to like stay with her and like tried to be, I guess you could say a little more understanding, do you think you would still be together?
Oh, she'd probably be sitting right next to me right now on this podcast with you guys. And we probably wouldn't be talking about this, to be honest.
Yeah.
100%. I say that with a very confident answer. That she'd probably be sitting next to me, living with me in my apartment right now, and we'd be having a similar podcast, just minus this.
Yeah.
That's how confident I am in that.
Because
And
like I said, I was kind of fucked by the distance between me and Quandale Dingle.
right,
So I can't like I can't say with confidence that had something gone a little differently that I would still be with them because I know with fair certainty that the same events would probably play out no matter what, just maybe with a little bit more time between.
right.
Like there might have been more time between me and her separating for her to be with someone else.
So after a while, we did go through a time where we did not talk. And eventually we got back together, and it was like nothing had ever happened. You know, we were making silly TikToks with each other, you know, going out to dinner, um, you know, making silly videos, doing face masks, you know, all the sweet stuff, you know, like honey. Um, and my friend, who I'm not gonna name, we're gonna call him Zach.
Okay.
Um, he he started being friends with Zoe, and
That is some dangerous territory, my friend.
yeah. Um, and one day she was like, "Hey, I'm going to go to the park with my friend Christian." Um,
Hmm.
um, that also isn't his name. I'm just throwing out names. Um, and so I'm like, Zach, who? Um, so and then she spit out. She didn't tell me the name, but she went to the park that was close to my house. So me being a little worried, you know, I was like, okay, all right. So I ended up walking to the park.
A little
From a
skeptical.
far distance, I could see her and Zach holding hands, she was sitting on his lap, and so he cheated on her, essentially. Um, and so I didn't bring it up at all. I just was like, okay, this is people slip up sometimes. I'm gonna give her another shot. Um,
I can tell you from personal experience. Um, and I'm sure you can hear it now, but you probably wouldn't have heard it from me at this point in your life. Like, if someone does that to you, you probably shouldn't give them a second chance.
right. And she ended up wising up. At the same time, I also gotta keep in mind she's 15, turning 16. She's still in that like pre-adulthood mindset
Yeah.
where, and so am I. I'm not even fully matured yet, and I'm still also very much immature and silly as one would be in their young ages. Um, so I gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I didn't hear about Zach anymore. There wasn't any meeting up anymore, and then eventually one day she said that she had to leave. She couldn't be with me, and she ended up getting with Zach. And so for the longest time, they were together and whatnot. And I was just kind of sitting on the sidelines, just kind of wishing that she would come back until one day I applied at Village Inn. I don't know if you guys know what Village Inn is. It's a pancake house.
Hmm.
And so I was working there, and one day she also started working there.
Oh
So
no.
um, so they were still together, and I didn't say much. She was actually very much surprised that I was working there. She also hadn't heard from me in quite some time. During her interview, I actually like sat down in her booth and like chatted her up, just catching up because it's been a very long time since I have had been vocal with her, and she was doing really well and whatnot, but Zach was very abusive. Um, she would always come into work with bruises on her. One night after work, uh, he tried to run her over in his car. It just wasn't good.
Yeah.
Um, for her birthday, I got her this necklace. It was a emerald necklace, and this was after the fact that they had broken up, and me and her started talking again and whatnot. Um, and this is where I also goofed up a little bit. Um,
Oh.
this comes up later on. Um, so she really loved this necklace, and it was like she wore it every single day, and like the love was still there. Like me and her would like interact in ways that like we wouldn't interact with anyone else. So it was all there. It just wasn't executed. Like I don't think me and her had the push to get back together again, but it was still there. Like we would. It was I don't know.
It was a perfect plan, but the execution was flawed.
Right. Like we were perfect for each other. It was just like too many things had happened in between. Um, and one day she was at a swimming pool with her friends, and one of her friends accidentally jumped in the pool, snagging her chain and broke it.
Ooh.
Um, and I'll never tell her how much it was. Um, and I even made sure that even if she went to the jeweler, that they wouldn't tell her how much it was. They didn't tell her either.
How you want to tell us how much it was?
It was probably about a $150 to $200 necklace.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was distraught over that. And I could tell that it really hurt her. She came to me crying with it in her hands, like almost on her knees, sobbing to me, telling me how sorry she was that it broke. Um, and I did probably the most adult thing that I could do. And um, I cupped her hands in mine, and I was like, this doesn't, it's just a piece of jewelry, it's okay. Things happen, it's all right. Give it to your mom so she can keep it safe until we can get it fixed. Um, you know, it's all right. She was like, oh, you probably spent a lot of money on this, and I feel so bad because I really loved it. And she was just bawling her eyes out, and I was like, that necklace, it's just material worth, Um,
Yeah,
it
I
doesn't
think
mean.
I think it was more so that it came from someone that she genuinely loved.
Right. And even to this day, she always tells me that she loves me. And I know that I also love her too, and I'll have a special place in her heart. And I think that's why it hurts so much, even after all we've been through, that it hurts so bad for that to be broken. Um,
Yeah.
and I just told her it was okay, we'll get it fixed. And eventually we did get it fixed. She's wearing it now too, so that's also really nice to see. But we were working and whatnot, and she has a sister that works with us too.
Mm.
This is where I goofed up really bad. And
Uh-oh.
this is probably where I would say officially. Well, oh, I think like a month ago we had a point where we talked about getting back together, but at the time this was like, Pete, you fucked up. You can no longer get back with her again. Um, and being around her so much and being so illusionally love struck, um, her sister was very much like her in almost every way. Um,
I think I know where this is going, and you really did fuck up.
I did. Um, and I was like, I want Zoe. That's all I can see myself with, but I can't have her. So who's
You
exactly
got with
like?
her sister.
I didn't get with her sister. Um, I talked to her sister. I was chatting her up. Sending
You were
hearts or
giving her
and
sister
whatnot.
the Riz?
Yeah. I'm not.
No.
I don't. And I'm not proud about it either. And I don't
No,
want.
like, you very well shouldn't be. Like, Connor, like, Connor and I will both tell you this right now. You fucked up.
Oh yeah. Um.
Like,
And so we still talk to this day and whatnot. I don't work at Village Inn anymore.
like,
Um. Part of it was
I,
also.
I want to say this real quick. I hope that there is a chance for you and this person to get back together. Like, I really hope that there's a chance.
And I mean, like, I even go to their house. I even go to their house still. I smoke with them and whatnot. And one day I was over there smoking, and I just got really sentimental. So I was talking to her, and I was just apologizing for everything that I've done.
Yeah.
And she put her hand on my cheek, and she just was like, Peter, I really love you from the bottom of my heart, but I just cannot be with you anymore after you tried to hit on my sister. Um, and in that one moment, I felt almost every single part of my being like
Like,
thoroughly.
see, I have. It's not exactly similar, but it's one of those moments where they're not mad at you, they're
They're
just
disappointed in
disappointed.
you.
Because, and this is going to be coming from a very personal, like, deep part of my soul. I used to have a porn addiction, right?
Right.
So much so I almost got arrested for it. Um, I remember distinctly there was a time where you guys remember my closest friend from, like, the weed and the drunk story.
Yeah.
An iPad at one point, and my closest friend caught me watching porn on it, and
Oh
he
my God.
took it. He took it from me, and he said, "I really thought I could trust you." And it was one of those things where it was He wasn't mad. He was just disappointed.
Right.
And coming from your ex, your friends, your parents, I would rather have had him been fucking pissed at me than for him to have ever uttered those words in my life, like ever to me. Because when someone is disappointed in you, it hits you so much harder.
Right. Because at that point,
It almost feels like a personal attack against you.
Um, and so after that, her and Zach ended up getting back together a few times. Um, and the last time was as of recent. She finally got the message that this guy is a full-blown psycho, you know. Um, and I'm glad. I'm not just saying that I'm glad on my part because like it's like, oh yeah, now I finally got a chance in the future. No, but I'm genuinely glad because it just was really bad for her. And
Yeah.
it's just it's like you ever watch the show Weeds?
The show what?
Um, there's a show about this couple that got together, and this guy was just like the sweetest guy that ever treated her right, and she just gets with all these other guys that just treat her like shit. And in the meantime, there's just this guy who's just sitting there waiting, you know, the sweetest guy.
And like you talking about that, even though I've never seen the show, that is like almost the meme of relationships now, where it's like
Right.
women will go to, and even with Quandale Dingle's case, like she picked Sean over me. I can't even tell you how many goddamn times. It was so much so, it was literally to the point of parody.
Right.
And it's like, I was always there trying to like comfort her and love on her, and it's just like, it. And my mom and I actually recently got into an argument about this, about like how many times it will take a person to leave an abusive relationship, and I was like, statistically speaking, it takes someone like 6 or 7 tries before they actually leave their abusive relationship, and it's like, that's fucking insane.
Right. And so conclusion, we're getting to the conclusion here soon. Um, so, you know, after that, you know, I kind of went back and sat on the couch. You know, we resumed to have a really great time, and you know, and smoke and whatnot. And you know, to this day, it hurts a lot. But she still gives me hugs every time she sees me. She tells me she loves me still, because it's one of those things where we were both impacted so greatly on each other that we will forever be a part of the other one's life, whether we like it or not. You know what I mean?
Personally, like, it sounds like you honestly do have a somewhat decent chance of getting back with them if you play your cards right.
If I play my cards right, yes, and you know, I would really have to work for it at this point. Um, I would have to really be dedicated and you know want this to happen, and I would just, like you said, I would have to play my cards right. It could definitely happen. Um, I just don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. I would say more so further into adulthood.
Like, I would say maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
And
But,
not it that like that sounds like a long time. It's really not.
but yeah, Zoe, you know who you are. Um, if you ever do stumble across this, which I don't think you will because you aren't online like we are, but on the off chance that you do, I hope that you take the time to take this into consideration. And you know, I do love you, and I'll probably end up smoking with you in like the next week or so. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna title this story "Sour Patch Kids."
And we are approaching our final story of the night. This has got to be on record our longest podcast episode to date. And we're going to wrap it up with Connor's story. Should he want to like talk about it? Keep in mind, Connor, we are not forcing you.
Right, you can say no, and we can end the podcast right here.
Yeah, like there's no quarrels.
Yeah, it's cool to talk about it. It's probably better to talk about these things and not, you know.
I mean, I know it certainly helped for me because like, this is probably going to make me sound like a cuck, but like that's not a joke. It's probably going to make me actually sound like a cuck. Because I asked Quandale Dingle, and keep in mind, Peter, Zoe, whoever she is, she may not stumble across this. Quandale Dingle almost certainly will.
Right.
Like there's no doubt in my goddamn mind she's going to find this eventually. But when I asked Quandale to like, because I'd already suspected that they'd been like doing the dirty, right? I'd already been like, she's probably given him blowies. He's probably chowed down on the cooch. Like, I'd already suspected all of that shit. But like you said, Connor, sometimes it just helps because like I just needed to hear her say that because like I'd already known, and like whenever she told me like all of the sexual stuff that they did, it felt like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. So like we said, we're not gonna force you to talk about it, and
Yeah.
if you are gonna talk about it, you can stop whenever you want.
Yeah, it's all good. Obviously, I've literally just not long ago broke up with this person. Within the past
Yeah, and
within the past
I-
few weeks.
I know who you're going to be talking about too, because I was there.
Well, don't say we actually got back together, and we broke up about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
But honestly, by far the best relationship I've ever been in, and probably will ever be in. I'm not really as much of a dater. You know, I don't really do much of anything like that. I find it really hard in general to express like those type of feelings and emotions, and I find it really hard to. But
see, I was like that for a long time. Even with my current girlfriend, like, I find it really hard to open up to people, no matter what it like. Tonight, talking about Quandale Dingle, that took a lot because it's just a hard thing to do.
Right.
but yeah, I met this person at my work and for a couple of friends. But at the time, like they had, before they cut their hair, they had like quite nice, really like proper blue long hair, quite short still. But almost immediately as I saw them, it was like I wasn't.
It was a love at first sight type thing.
It really was, but I fell almost instantly for them, and for someone like me to do that, it was even surprising to me because I wasn't expecting it at all, and it hit me quite hard. We were speaking for a couple of weeks. They moved back to their hometown in Poland, and you know, it was around that time when we actually started seeing each other, and the more and more I talked to them, the more and more I felt deeply for them. They come back from Poland. We started seeing each other in person quite a lot. We took quite a lot of walks, talking, and honestly, just that was, as I can say, probably the best relationship. But you know, things progressed. It got better. I started meeting their friends and just seeing them a lot more often. I enjoyed their company almost every single time. Any activities we did together was always fun.
Pause real quick. See, Peter, I already know this story. He's told me about this. This is more so a story for you.
Yeah.
So you can continue.
Things got a little bit a bit rough because they started to see their ex quite a lot during the time, and I got quite paranoid, and you know, it's just something that I shouldn't have gotten paranoid about. But
Right.
I got a little paranoid. You know, they were seeing their ex a lot and stuff, and they wouldn't want me around once they did see their ex. And you know, I got paranoid about it all, and I talked to them about it and stuff like that. And you know, things got a little rough, a little bit hasty. And you know, couple days, couple weeks went past, and they stopped talking to me as much. Um, they ended up wanted to separate. You know, they felt like, you know, I was relying on them too much and all that sort of stuff. Um, obviously, I was still very head over heels for them. We ended up being able to fix things, and we got back together. And again, same process applied. You know, we enjoyed so much time together. We just did activities. We'd go out, and it generally was. There's that point in life where you can look at someone and be like, yeah, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. And I had that feeling with this person. I generally, wholeheartedly, truly love this person, and I still do. We started talking, you know, doing all stuff again, and we got back together, and then, you know, a couple of months passed, and you know, they wanted to split again.
You see, I could tell that you were infatuated with her from the start because, and I'm not saying that this was a bad thing. Keep in mind, if I were in the position that you were in, I would have done the same thing. I could tell that you were infatuated with her because you ignored the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it wasn't on purpose.
Like, I know because, like, and I don't hold it against you because, like I said, I know damn well I would have done the exact same thing.
But I can't really recall the reason why we broke up the second time. But
See, I remember the first time, and it was like you said. They were like, actually, there was a little bit of a part that you left out that I still remember, where they were making stories that were almost specifically pointed to you.
yeah, that was the second time.
And it's like, even now that still perplexes me a bit, but
Yeah, the second time.
It's almost like the shit in the bottle thing. Like that was how confused I was at that time, because it's like I just didn't get it.
The second time was by far the most painful. They just didn't want to be with me anymore. You know, they were going through a lot, and I don't blame them. They were going through quite a lot. I took quite a lot of the backlash. You know, they'd post on their stories things to purposely attack me. They would purposely come to my work to test me and do that sort of stuff. And it hurt quite a lot. But the only reason why we ended up getting back together in the first place was because, like most other people they have been with, I was by far the most different. You know, I generally made them believe I liked them, and I generally did. And I'd go through any lengths. You know the classic movie scenes where you'd run in the rain to go see this person.
Yeah,
you know,
where you would go through like an insurmountable odds to like be with them.
And I did, and I've generally actually sprinted in the rain to go see this person.
I will say, like, dude, other than me, like, I've never seen someone fight for a relationship like you have.
I generally like this person, and I've done everything in my power. I've always been there for them, even on days where.
Also, I want to point out real quick. There's like 6 zombies dying around us.
Yeah,
right
I can
now.
hear them.
I can hear all of them.
But
They're yeah.
I literally did everything in my power to be with them. You know, I'd be there no matter how bad I was, whatever state I was, I'd always be there for them, no matter what, and I always will be. You know, I just wanted to be there for them as much as a friend, as a lover, as someone who was just there. I wanted to be different compared to everyone else they've been with. You know, I wanted to do things they've never experienced. I wanted to show them not everybody is bad.
Yeah.
And, you know, the second time we broke up was a bit more harsh. You know, I was out at the time, and that's when they broke up with me because they just didn't want to be with me anymore.
And like I said, I was there for. You said it was the second time where they posted weird shit on their story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you almost immediately came to me, and
I just didn't know who else to go to.
Well, I was about to say, because like I still feel flattered that like I was your go-to. Like
you're one of my closest
whatever the fuck I did to deserve that, like I'm so glad that I did it. Like I don't know what it was.
Just being here for me, Dante.
Like, well, I mean, and I like recently because I noticed that Peter recently posted something in my Discord server where like he said that he was going through a lot, and it's like, and like Tegan, my girlfriend, she's been going through a lot too because she's been really busy recently, to where like we haven't really talked, and I was like, I'm always gonna be here for you guys. Like I'm never gonna turn any one of you down if you ever need to talk. Because I know how hard it can be to reach the point where it's like I need to reach out to someone, otherwise I'll like it's the feeling of I need to talk to someone or else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But it got to bad with my mental health with all this going on. They ended up getting bad for my work because they were disrupting my work. I wasn't working for a couple of shifts. You know, I was in a really bad state. My mental health plummeted almost immediately. You know, ways of self-harming was induced. I've still got the scars on my hand from it, but yeah, it really hurt, and they ended up cutting me off everything. You know, took me off social medias, etc. About a couple weeks later, they actually then came to message me, and
oh, that was you, Peter. I was so confused.
But they messaged me a little while after, and was like, they realized they really needed me, and I really was different, and they wanted to be with me, and so we spent a little while fixing things quite recently. We've done so much together since then. Spent
Like are you guys back together now?
No.
No.
We did, but then we ended up stopping again. But honestly,
see, like getting back together with someone is such a double-edged sword, because it's like, see, there's the scene from Spider-Man PS4, and I hate using this analogy, but getting together with someone that you've been with like in the past, there's a lot of baggage there, and it's not always bad. It's not always bad baggage, you know?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
it's still like, for those of you listening, like if you're thinking about getting back with someone that you've been with in the past, just be cautious, because you've always got to remember, like with some of your relationships, there's a reason you two broke it off.
Right.
Unless it's one of those things where it's mutual, like it was between me and Quandale, because like we mutually agreed that we would be allowed to see other people if that's what we wanted, and so
Hey,
it was a mutual thing.
But yeah, we spent almost the entire term for Christmas fixing things. And again, I'd do it sort of again in a heartbeat. Um, I'd relive every moment with them, every second. There wasn't a moment where I didn't think I didn't love them, and I still do.
I'm gonna tell you, like I told Peter, like if you potentially, if you played your cards right, you could get back together with them. Like, and as much it feels almost selfish for me to keep bringing up me and Quandale, but it's like we all know, like I'm probably never getting back with her because she's happy in her current relationship.
I think the most is because the reason why we broke up this time around, even was because the feelings between me and them changed. They didn't. They just didn't feel the same way as they did before. Um, but the thing that also hurts the most is the fact they came to me originally the third time. Is they came to me telling me they want to be with me, how they wanted to fix things, and we spent weeks upon weeks and so much time together. We did so much together, and things were almost perfect. There was we never got into fights, no arguments. So to out of the blue just not want to be with me.
This is gonna sound weird. Me and Tegan have not argued about anything yet. A part of me is excited to see what our first argument's about because it's like I know it's coming. It's gonna happen at some point. I'm just waiting. But like the I I think that sometimes relationships can be almost too perfect,
But yeah,
Yeah.
and usually when that's the case, like it it's one of those feelings of it's literally too good to be true because like and in to give you guys an example, my mom with her current husband, when we first moved into our apartments, he accused me. I think I told you. I told both of you about this because I almost got into another fight with him because
Mhm.
he accused me of shoving him when we were moving the box springs uh, of my bed. But in reality, he kept pushing into me, and it made me lose my balance. And I gripped the guardrail of the stairs, and in order to get like a little bit of extra space, I like pushed back against the box springs so that I could like try to move. And it like even if I did shove him, which I can't say whether I did or did not because I was exhausted and I wasn't I can't really remember. Like even if I did, it wasn't on purpose. And so he accused me of shoving him on purpose, and he'd been drinking, and I don't know if I told either of you guys this. My mom screamed at the top of her lungs, like I want a divorce, and it's like with shit like that, um, sometimes there needs to be a little bit of follow through, because I don't know if I'm super cynical of people because of the way her last marriage was. Like because Randy treated me like shit, and it made me super cynical. Like I'm really weary about people because of him, and it's like you just got to be careful.
but yeah, but messaged me almost randomly out of the blue, and they um they just said they don't want to. They don't think this will work. Obviously, I asked why I pushed to preach. And, they mentioned how they just don't feel the same way. Um, Obviously, I wasn't going to stop them, but it, it it really hurts because I genuinely like this person with all my heart. There wasn't a bad moment. There wasn't.
And I hate to bring out the cliches, um, but there really is plenty of fish in the sea, and if you can't get back with this person, like there's hope, at least hopefully, right? There's hopefully going to be someone else.
Yeah, no, it's just I found is fucking again as cliche. I generally found like I felt like I found my future in this person.
Yeah, that's the way I felt with Quando, because
And
like I genuinely thought that she was the one, you know.
and fuck man, I would fight for it any day. You know, if I would right now, you know, message them and fight to be with them. And but I know I know no matter what I do, you know, things won't change. They won't just magically want to be with me. As as much as I know, as fucking amazing that would sound if they would turn to me and say yes, but I just don't know what to do because it's the happiest I've ever been. They made me feel more than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
I've never cried in front of people. I'm not much of a cry. I cried in front of them.
Oh, Connor, I have to tell you this because this was back when Yasmin and Ruby and I were still talking.
Can you scoot over 1 second, Patrick?
Oh yeah. The way that you reacted to this person leaving you, like I genuinely thought that that was gonna be the death of you, and I cried in front of them, which is something I rarely do.
If
Like I genuinely cried about you because I care about you.
it, if I'm being honest, I'd say it would have been if I'm being deadly honest.
That like I that's why I tried to be here as much as I could for you during that time.
Well, I struggled. Losing the person you truly fucking love with all your goddamn heart.
Because I was that same way the first time Quando left me. Because I even texted my closest friend. Fuck it, I'm actually gonna name drop him. He's really cool, and I'm hoping someday he'll see this. My best friend, I called him my brother because he's the kid I've known for like almost 20 years. Drake, I snapped him being like, dude, I think I might kill myself because of this. Like going like losing the person that you genuinely think is the one is one of it's a pain that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy because I know how bad it is.
It's a different type of pain.
Yeah, it
I'm
really is.
I'm still feeling that pain now. We agreed to be friends and stuff. Every single time I see them post pictures of themselves, every single time I see them, it's it's so painful because I still very much so love this person, and I'd say to the top of the world, I would climb the highest mountain in the world, and I'd say it. If things could be fixed between us, I wouldn't skip a heartbeat to be with them,
And obviously, I'm not going to ask you to name that story because, like, at least for me and Peter, it was like they were still kind of jokes, but they're not recent. They're not like fresh wounds to us anymore. But like with you, it's still very much so in the back of your mind still, and because of that, I'm not going to ask you to name it if you don't want to.
yeah, I'm not gonna name this, but
Yeah.
they probably won't see this. I know they have me on a lot of things, but they probably won't see this. But if they do, it's like I'm just saying how I feel. But you know, I still try to talk to them here and there. It's a lot more
Yeah.
difficult because they don't really reply as much when it comes to like replying back to me now. It's quite hard to keep a conversation. I see them in person every now and then.
See, and I'm not saying that this is gonna work for you, but it worked for me. Um, After Quandale told me what she'd been doing with her current boyfriend, like, and even after she recently, like shortly after she'd gotten with him, I just kind of had to distance myself from her, and I still do that to a point even now, because I know that if I constantly message her, I'll get I'll I'll get too close with her again, and it'll hurt again.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm not saying it'll work for you, but
I know.
that's just what I've done.
I've come to terms with the fact that we're probably never going to be together again, and their feelings probably won't come back. But
But like I said, I genuinely hope that they do, because all three of us deserve happiness. And weirdly enough, like, I'm the only one that's taken out of the three of us, and it's like I want that for you guys, because like I said, all of us deserve it in some facet.
I've put it to them, you know, I'll always be here for them, no matter what how we are with each other. We could be friends, enemies. I'll always be here for them. If they're having a bad
And
day, if they're just having a good time, I'll be there.
as jokey and cliche as this sounds, like, we still have each other.
Right.
Like, Connor, if I am the only one to say it, like, even if I'm not the only one to say it, I'll definitely be the first. I'm never gonna leave you down. Like, I'm never gonna let you hurt. I will always be the first person there. And even for you, Peter, like, I'm not the kind of friend that will just, like, haha, fuck you, I have someone, I'm happy in my life, fuck you. I'm
Right.
not that kind of person.
And and specifically for me in your case, me and you have actually come a very long way from where we originally were, where it wasn't always so great.
Actually, between me and Connor, we have definitely come a very long way.
Yeah.
Because there was a point where Quandale Dingle hated Connor, and in order to keep my relationship intact with her, I had to not talk to Connor for a very long time.
Yeah. You fucking banned me. You fucking blocked me on a few things.
I banned and blocked you from several groups.
Cunt.
Yeah, it's
But
safe to
also-
say now that I'm not that guy anymore. I wouldn't do that to you.
But also, I don't put that on you. I put that more on Vina.
See, like, Vina's a very weird case for me when it comes to relations. She and I never technically dated. I will say that we were close, but she and I never technically dated.
I was thinking about this during the podcast. I think if it would be at all possible, marking our 10 years of knowing each other, which is like, I don't know, 3 years away, we should make a valiant attempt to find a way to
Be in the
group
same
together,
place.
all be in the same place and do another podcast.
Yeah, that's 3 years. Well, we would basically have to go to England.
Yeah, we would have to come to you, but
We
I'm
we
sure
could even shoot it at the bar that you're in.
yeah.
Like, legit.
I think that would be nice. I was just doing some thinking, and of course, like I definitely wouldn't have a
See,
problem.
I'm trying to get a job right now, and I could save up for a few years. It would definitely be possible in 3 years.
Oh yeah,
That would at least give me a reason to save money.
It's actually a really good idea.
You know, a round trip. I mean, it's not even that expensive either for a round trip.
Shock, and not only that, it could also give me a chance to see Tegan too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Two
I
birds with
mean,
one stone.
that would be really nice.
I mean, We can even get Tegan to have all meet at the same place. Because I'm actually yet to meet Tegan.
I've seen. You haven't even seen a picture of her, have you?
No,
I
I
don't. I
haven't
don't.
either.
I don't think I have.
Because I actually do have a picture of her. I don't know
But,
how I got that fucking lucky, but
let's wrap this up before
yeah,
we get
because
it.
like I have to get. See, my mom and I were gonna go hit the town tomorrow at like noon. I think it's like almost 3.
Bro, it's
Yeah, it's almost 3.
it's almost 8 a.m.
Yeah,
It's
well,
almost
me and
3 in the
you
morning.
are in the same time zone, so it's like it's 1:50 right now.
It's fucking 8 o'clock in the morning for me, bro.
Holy shit.
And
Actually, Peter, I'm an hour ahead of you.
Really?
I'm still somehow an hour ahead of you. I thought we would be in the same time zone, but apparently we're not. So, in order for our podcast conclusion, I want each of us to like say, due to like the shockingly depressing nature of tonight's episode, because like I was not expecting it to get
Yeah,
like
I was thinking
this
that
weirdly
same
dark.
thing, too.
Like
I was
let's
thinking
just
the
say
same thing,
let's just say some encouraging words to like the homies out there, because like well we're not turning off the mics yet. Yeah. So who wants to go first with the encouraging homie talk?
I'll go first.
All right.
So to all the viewers out there, any who come across this or those who may be listening, in the future, um, just make sure to stay level-headed. You know, a lot of good things come out in life and a lot of bad comes in life. But you just kind of got to keep your chin up and weigh out the benefits of what you got right now. You know, everyone goes through their own deal of trials and errors, and that's just a way of life. And you know, everyone goes through it, and we all just kind of gotta, you know, come together and unify, and you know, find the good in what you have here before you. Um, those out there who struggle with mental health, you are cared for, and if you can't find that place, you can always come here to our podcast. We accept everyone except pedos. Get out.
Or and bats, like fuck that
And
bitch.
bats stay out. But
and rubies, right?
in Rubies,
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
you are all loved, and I wish you guys all the best. I am. This podcast wasn't meant to get so dark, but I'm also glad it
Yeah,
did because it
it's-
shined a lot of
it's-
light in it.
Because it showed. Weirdly, this is the most human that the 3 of us have been in.
A
Like
very
especially
long time.
especially when it comes to like podcast live stream type shit, because normally we're like playing characters, like we're being super cheerful, super funny, shit like that, and it's like it feels like the first time that we were
We
allowed
take a
to
step
be
back into
human.
real life.
Yeah, to just like examine ourselves, like who we really are for a minute.
And it feels
Right.
good. It feels good.
It really did.
How about you, Dante?
I was actually gonna let Connor go first,
All
personally,
right.
if he wanted to.
I'm also gonna agree with Zada, Peter here, and appreciate what you have. There are many people in this world that take advantage of what they have, and they don't respect what people don't have. It's hard for what people have to go through daily lives. They have a lot of mental issues. I'm sure all of us do as well, and it's hard. It's never bad to seek help if you aren't doing okay, or to help others around you. It did get quite dark towards the end, but we all have a
I
dark
think it's
side.
also because we're really tired. Usually that tiredness brings it out of us sometimes.
But what we say here is our own personal experiences, and we all have our own feel free here to express how you feel with topics, and if you ever want another topic spoken about, feel free to mention or to let one of us know, and we'll be free to talk about it. Obviously, some won't, some will, but we'll take it. Um, we've always got a spare mic if anybody ever wants to join
Yeah.
and speak about their own personal
Right.
experiences.
And if we need to, we can always make more mics. So
Yeah,
don't feel don't feel
ori-
like if there's someone in the spot that you don't have a way to get in. We will always make more room.
weirdly enough, when I first made this house that we're in, it was not originally gonna have like the second floor be the podcast floor. Um, weirdly enough, I did make it big enough to fit more people should they choose to come on. So happy accidents, am I right?
Right. So we're gonna leave this off. You're gonna finish it out.
I most certainly am. Yeah, I agree with them. Just don't don't take for granted the things that life gives you, because like there's a saying that I really like. Um, it's kind of vulgar, but I feel like we could use that right now. Sometimes life deals you a shit hand. Sometimes life takes a shit in your hands. And it's all about how you play your cards.
I did shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
for those of you that suffer from mental health, much like we do, we are always here. We we may not know you, we may never know you, but we are just like you. We suffer, we deal all in our own ways. We we're never gonna let you down.
we're never gonna give you up.
Never gonna give you up.
We're never gonna let you
Um,
down.
but
Never around.
If we ever turn
Desert
around,
you.
hurt you and hurt and desert you. Um, but like I, for those of you that may be going through a breakup and may need to hear this, like, just know we've been there. What, at least one of us is still there. Um, and we know what you're going through. And I don't know if this is harsh to say, you're not special in that sense. There's always someone that knows what you're going through. There's always people around you. And in my case, whenever my ex broke up with me, I went to my closest friend, someone I called brother, and he helped me through it. You've always got people, and
You always have brothers to help you out.
you've always got the homies. Like, don't ever think you're alone, because you're not. Like, you've got people.
for
And oh, go ahead.
for all of yous out there, just whoever you're with, whoever you have around you, just don't ever forget to let them know you love them.
Exactly.
Even if it means you turn around to the person right next to you right now and tell them you love them, do so.
It could be, and it doesn't have to be exclusively your partner, your life partner. It doesn't have to be your husband, your wife. It could be your parents, your best friends.
Your
Just,
pet.
just there used to be a slogan, I think in the '90s, called "Reach out and touch someone." And while that is kind of a goofy saying now, um, it's really helpful, because sometimes people need to know that there is someone there, someone that is willing to talk, to listen. Just reach out and tell someone that you appreciate them, that even, like I said, even if it's your parents, let them know, because as weird as it sounds, 3 words is all it takes to change someone's entire life perspective. And anyone else need to say anything?
I think that's all.
I think that's about it.
All right, so with that, well, wow, what was that? With that, I think we're gonna flip the mics and call it a day.
All right. So
So,
everyone,
so
stay tuned. Other than that,
hopefully we'll. I don't know if we're gonna make this a daily thing or like an every other day thing. I don't. I don't. Honestly, the three of us kind of did this on a whim, so we're gonna have to figure that out.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so stay tuned. We will get back with you guys when we get back with you guys, and keep your heads up, have fun, live life, eat well, sleep good. All right?
And hopefully, fucking hopefully, it will not be as dark as this one.
Right.
Hopefully, ow.
Hopefully it'll be a lot more giddy and silly on next time.
Indeed.
Have some
Hopefully,
laughs.
we'll have a lot more highest stories we got and the drunkest stories we got were probably the most fun that we've had this entire fucking time.
You can't forget about the shit bottle.
Oh yeah,
Oh
the
yeah,
shit bottle too.
the shit bottle.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'm still trying to figure out the logistics of how that works.
That's its own monster in and of itself.
Honestly, you could tell it. You could have your entire own episode like Bob did in Distractable, where it's just like you regale stories from the weird shit you see at Tyson.
Oh boy, I have a lot of them.
All right, well, lads, would that be you?
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
All right.
With
Thank
that, the crazy coders are logging off.
all right, shut up, Dante. I'm trying to do my outro. All right, guys, this is great. It's been great. I hope you guys all had fun and good night. We will be doing this again at some point. If not tomorrow, if not today after, some point. But yeah.
This is Rusty with Crazy Coders, and we are signing off, everyone. So just stay tuned. Like he said, we might be doing this today or the yes tomorrow next. So just make sure to stay tuned and just give us the ideas, give us topics. We love to hear it. All right, bye.